And a look at the starting lineup. Tonight's Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Skinner will have to drop to the tail of the field because he is in a backup car. Greg Biffle will now share the front row with Mark Martin. Everybody in that inside lane, as Bill Weber told you earlier, will move up one spot for the start.
See, Jeff Gordon will move up to the 4th position. Sterling Marlin, who runs so well at this racetrack.
Jeff Burton alongside his brother Ward on the grid. Jeff, the 98 race winner here, back in row number 4. And Johnny Benson.
How about Kyle Petty's qualifying run? 10th spot. Way to go, Kyle.
Got his first Winston Cup win here. Remember it? 1986. Joe Nemechek won here in May. He's in row number 6 with Todd Bodine. Had a top 10 finish here 1 year ago.
Now we see Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart. Winner might come out of this road.
Yeah, a lot of folks think that. Bill Elliott, great 5th place finish in the Southern 500 last week. And Bobby Labonte, only driver with 3 short track finishes in the top 5 this season.
And Rusty Wallace runs so well. There was your championship contender Matt Kenseth in row 9.
Home state of Ricky Rudd in his 50th start here, coming from row 10.
And Jimmy Spencer, the 7th car on the outside of row 11. Very, very good in practice.
Driver change in the 1 this week for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. John Andretti now on board. He'll run about all the races for the rest of this season in that car.
Another row to look for a contender for the championship, row 13.
And Kevin Harvick, top 5 finishes the last 5 straight races.
I mean, not championship, but the winner tonight.
Yeah. We were with you, BB.
Okay, thanks.
Were you with him, Wallace?
I was right here with him.
Okay, just checking. Michael Waltrip going to come back from row number 17. Kenny Wallace, one of his best tracks. There's Johnny Sauter, last night's NASCAR Busch Series winner, driving the Kodak car tonight. 36th starting spot. And now in the provisional land, drivers not able to make the field on time, but who got in by virtue of their owner point standings. Steve Park in a backup car, Christian Fittipaldi in a backup car, but they crashed before qualifying. And the car that they qualified is the car that they'll race tonight, so they don't have to go to the end of the field like Mike Skinner does. Larry Foyt, Billy Bigley Jr. unable to qualify for the race, and we talked about Skinner. He'll drop to the end of the field on the pace laps in the U.S. Army car.
Red sky at night, sailor's delight.
Wonderful thing, isn't it?
Just a wonderful thing.
And look at the flash bulbs going off as the field heads out onto this racetrack before this massive crowd.
That's what you talked about on your ride today, all those flash bulbs.
You know, you really notice it here for some reason. You know, at Bristol's actually, it's even more confined than here, but boy, you just notice those flash bulbs here when you're going down there. Look at that. Isn't that pretty cool?
Get your adrenaline going?
Oh, yeah.
Behind the wheel?
Yep. You can't, a lot of times on the pace lap, you've really tuned out the crowd. You know, you're in the car, you're getting ready, but you can't hear because of the flash bulbs.
Yeah. Well, the folks that are here are going to see a great race tonight. They always do at Richmond. Let's get some final thoughts from pit road before we go green. Dave, you're first.
Well, Alan, a red car at night could be Greg Biffle's delight tonight. You know, he got a new crew chief last week in Doug Richard, led 70 laps and finished 10th in the race. This weekend, he nearly qualified on the pole, and yesterday after final practice, they made very few changes to the 16 car. Keep your eye on Greg Biffle. Matt?
Dave, it's hard to believe, but Sterling Marlin hasn't scored a top 5 finish in over a year. He thought the turnaround was going to take place at Bristol, but he's crashed out while leading. A few minor changes on that 40 car after the final practice. They feel like they have the car, now hoping they have the luck to score Sterling's first short track Winston Cup victory. Marty?
Matt Dale Earnhardt Jr. is driving for the band Stain, so I guess you could say it's been a while since he's been to victory lane. In fact, Talladega in April, yesterday in Happy Hour, 4 gear changes on that 8 car, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. says the car is, quote, right. This car took him to victory lane here at Richmond in 2000, so victory lane tonight may not be so far away after all. Bill?
Marty, Johnny Sauter is making his 3rd start of the weekend, but just his 4th in the Winston Cup Series. He finished 10th in the truck race here on Thursday and won the Busch race last night with the bang and run. After that race in victory lane, he admitted his hit of Matt Kenseth was, quote, intentional, unquote. That had a lot of guys in the garage area talking this afternoon. What would have happened if Matt Kenseth had wrecked? An interesting situation. A lot of drivers expect to see a similar bump and run on the way to the checkers tonight. But if the guy you bump hits the wall, will you actually get the checkers? We'll have to wait and see, Alan.
I'll tell you, also might be interesting is if the 17 car gets to the back of that 4 car tonight, we'll see how much room Johnny Sauter gives that 17 car.
We see the drivers weaving their cars back and forth. I don't think I've ever seen this much on pace laps on brand new tires. We normally see it when the tires are worn and after the race goes on for a little bit. But these racetrack, this new tires, cold tires, does not grip this racetrack very well. They're trying to get all the heat they can in them before the green flag.
Big Apple Sweepstakes. Want you to remember who leads this race tonight at lap 50. Could help you win a trip to New York City to work as a special correspondent at this December's Winston Cup Awards ceremony. Remember who leads at lap 50. You'll need that information later on tonight.
Well,
what do you think? You got an early pick? You want to give the folks some advice?
lap 50.
50.
Well, Ryan Newman would be a good
I hear the Jeopardy music
Ryan
playing.
Newman? I think that was somebody else. I just don't know who.
Indecision's a terrible thing. 400 laps around a 3/4 mile track, 300 miles tonight. A little over $4.4 million on the line. And who will it be holding the winner's trophy, which is actually a very nice Gibson guitar at the end of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Fans on their feet. Mark Martin now bringing the field down for the start of Richmond.
Well, you got through the first one. A great battle for the lead as Biffle takes it, and Jeff Gordon goes to second spot. Outside line looks to be the best right now.
Ryan Newman by Mark Martin for third. Here comes Jeff Burton to Martin's outside. Bill, you got something on Martin already?
Yeah, we kind of expected to see him go back a little bit at the beginning, Alan. Benny, you were in the garage. We were talking to Ben Leslie. This car not very good on the get-go, but later on in the run, about 18 laps in, 25 laps in, it takes off and is very consistent. Mark won't be good on the short runs, but it's looking for long green flag runs tonight.
Jeff Gordon
for the lead.
Thank you very much.
And Gordon takes the lead down at turn 1.
Jeff Burton also took third away from Ryan Newman. Most people I talked to in the garage this afternoon, BP, said, watch that 99 car tonight.
10-4. Jeff Burton, they said, is the man to beat. The car is awesome. Let's see how awesome it is.
I talked to Jeff. He said, well, we're pretty good. We'll see. It's a long race. You know, typical understatement thing from the driver. Todd Bodine down to the inside. Trying to pick up a spot. That's Kyle Petty got the position on. That was for 11th and 12th. Up ahead, Dale Jr. Whoa, Joe Nemechek.
Very loose.
Which opens the door for Todd Bodine and tries to get on the inside of Nemechek. Nemechek is getting the inside. I'm not sure that is the fastest way. It seems to be for Todd Bodine right now.
Second place, Jeff Burton on the move. 99 is through. So Burton up to second. Biffle back to third. Ryan Newman fourth. Mark Martin fifth. That's where Mark settled in line. Then you've got Sterling Marlin, Ward Burton, Johnny Benson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and now Todd Bodine rounding out your top 10. How about that second place car, Marty?
Kind of what they expected from the 99 bunch, Alan. They expected to be very good on this short run, and actually they thought they may have been too good in happy hour yesterday. So they made changes this morning trying to make them better on the longer run. After about 30 laps, this car starts to get too loose off the corner. They made some spring changes in the front, trying to tighten that car up on the longer runs.
Wow, that's unusual for here, because usually the cars go tight. The later this race goes, the cars, you see a lot of cars start sliding up to the middle of the racetrack. You see a lot of guys sliding up too high. You saw a lot of guys in the Busch race last night get up in the marbles. And boy, if you get up in the marbles here, it takes about a lap and a half to get them cleaned off, and you lose a lot of spots.
And if you're not a NASCAR regular, tight is the term the teams and drivers use to describe a car that doesn't want to turn. The front end doesn't grip as well as it needs to, so the car wants to go up the track like Matt Kenseth's right there, the 17, instead of turning left like you want it to.
Right, the key here to get around this racetrack is right where they're at, these cars have to roll. You're off the throttle, and you're just coasting through the corner, and you want the car to coast through the center without the front sliding. That way you can jump on the gas real hard and get off the corner good. That's the best way to get around this place, but it's very difficult to do.
See Matt Kenseth, the 17, and Kevin Harvick hanging out. They had some words after the NASCAR Busch Series last night. Right now, Kenseth is in 23rd position, started 18th, so 17 car easing backwards a little bit.
Yeah, BP, I've caught him twice now, just going up the racetrack like his car just didn't grip like he wanted it to, and he had to get off the gas and kind of gather it up.
That's what I thought. Looked like he just can't get on the throttle, but back end is trying to come out. That's the opposite of tight.
Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson. This is back for 21st place. Harvick, one of the Chevy rock and roll cars tonight. Heard him earlier tell us he's carrying Sugar Ray on
Another car way up there. Kurt Busch.
Kept it off the wall. On board Jimmy Johnson, just in front of Harvick. Jeff Burton trying to close the gap on Jeff Gordon for the race lead.
Not having a whole lot of success. Looking at the scoring monitor, these two cars running about the same speed.
While we watch Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton kind of take a different line in turns 3 and 4, let's talk about the track surface here. It was sealed over a year ago, a year and a half ago, before the May 2002 race. And a lot of drivers complained about it that day. Hasn't been sealed since. The bottom line where most people run, that sealer's been wearing off, and so there seems to be a differing amount of grip between the low lane and the outside lane.
Last night it looked like that the higher lane up off the bottom was the fastest, but Ward Burton in the 22 used that bottom lane to go right by Sterling Marlin to take over the 6th position.
Johnny Benson trying to follow through. Now, here's the guy that's been the mover in the opening few laps. The 74 of Tony Raines started 20th. He's already up to 11th. We're just 17 laps in, Marty.
They had a terrific car in happy hour yesterday, Alan, and made no changes to the car this morning. I saw Tony at driver intros, and he said he was just so excited to get in the car today. BP, I'm sure you've had a car like that you knew was going to be good. You couldn't wait for the race to start.
You're right, Marty, and you love it when you get in that. Know you want to get in the car and be competitive.
Be great to see if Tony Raines can have a good night all night tonight. Jeff Burton chasing Jeff Gordon, as yet has not made a move for the lead. 17 laps of 400 complete here at Richmond tonight. Back at Richmond, caution is out. Robbie Gordon has just slid to a stop in a cloud of smoke halfway down the back straightaway.
And made a little bit of contact with the inside retaining wall with one of the front fenders. There we see the dark spot on the wall, and you see the right front fender, the damage. And believe it or not, that will hurt the handling of this race car dramatically. Will change it dramatically.
Got a serious tire rub. He's going to have to get in and fix right away.
And he's lost a lap. Let's see what happened. Robbie racing with Elliott Sadler here, the 38 for 26th place.
Looks like he got into the side of, well, he tried turning off of Elliott so he wouldn't run into him. And by turning the wheel and turning off, he got sideways and hit the inside wall.
Yeah, trying to stay off him.
Yep.
Tell you what, the exit of turn 2 is a very difficult exit, especially if you're coming off on the inside of someone. Let's listen to Robbie. There's
guys, we just fine. Hang on to it. Hang on to it. We didn't touch nothing.
Believe me, he hung on to it. But he did touch something.
I beg to differ on the didn't touch anything.
Yeah, Tim Elverby, you're a little bit wrong on that.
Some pit stops here. Tony Stewart was the first one to make a move to pit road. He was back about 18th in line, Marty.
Our championship leader, Matt Kenseth, really, really loose. As we said on the radio, they make an air pressure adjustment trying to tighten that car up, and it'll be 4 tires for him. Matty?
and Tony Stewart's been talking about his car on the radio. He says the car is just loose, zippy, it's tight in, but it's getting looser off, and that's the problem that they were working on through the final practice session. The car was just not the way he liked it, but they kept transferring the problem from the center of the corner to off the corner.
Back half of the field pits, front half of the field stays out. So your top 5 remain unchanged. Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, and Mark Martin under caution, 25 laps in at Richmond. Back at Richmond, coming to the green for the restart in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Top 22 on the track did not pit. Top 21, excuse me. First one in line who did pit is Elliott Sadler in 22nd position for the restart.
Well, like, you know, those guys were not handling, so they didn't have a choice. They needed to come in and make those changes, because if your car's not working, it's not going to fix itself. So those guys were basically forced to come in to help their car handle better.
And if they get a caution here in a few laps with the field bunched up for the restart and the leaders come into pit, they'll stay out.
And if their car feels okay now after those adjustments, sure, they'll stay out, because the tires here do not drop off anything like they did at Darlington last week. About a quarter of a second is all they see from the beginning or the end of a run.
Jeff Gordon leads, Jeff Burton second, Ryan Newman third, Greg Biffle fourth, Mark Martin fifth. You're watching Dale Jr. run in 8th place and try to move up a little bit. There's your front 5. And the second group, Ward Burton 6th, Sterling Marlin 7th, Jr. there in 8th place. Got Todd Bodine in 9th, and Tony Raines now up to 10th. He just slipped around Johnny Benson. Second place. It looked like he was trying to put a little pressure on Burton there for a second.
I think the 12 car had ideas, a notion of trying to get by the 12 car.
This is a good race right here. These guys were packed in there side by side.
Now Robbie Gordon lost 1 lap while he was sitting there, spun around backwards on the backstretch, made a pit stop, got fresh tires on. He's in 43rd place, and he's the only car not on the lead lap at this point, Dave.
And of course, you remember the spring, Allen, where he had a right rear down at the start of the race, lost 3 laps, 4 laps actually. I think it was 3. Came back and made them all up and finished 4th, or you know, I'm not even looking at my sheet. Y'all can help me.
Okay.
But he was down lots of laps and made him up. He's only down 1 now. He did radio to the guys that the car is very tight since he restarted. He said, how bad is it killed, when they looked at the right front? They said, yeah, not that bad.
This is math. I'll help Dave on this one. It was 3 laps down, finished 4th.
And yes, he made them all up.
And the whole point, car really ran good here in May.
Boy, didn't he? Now Terry Labonte pretty far back in traffic, but has moved up to 19th spot after starting 32nd, Bill.
And stopped under that caution and took 2 right side tires and some fuel. Crew Chief Jim Long told me the reason they did it, they wanted to find out early how good the car is on 2 tires, could be a factor later in the race.
And really, on this place, it takes about 35 to 40 laps before the handling starts going off of the cars. So everybody's pretty much trying to run the same piece of real estate of the racetrack. Now is when cars start running up the racetrack, like you see Sterling Marlin there in 40 car. He's running a little bit higher than Dale Jr. So Dale Jr. is going to try to work him on the, maybe he'll take the look back up. See, they're both in the same spot. Looks like in 1 and 2, Dale Jr. can run a little bit lower.
And Ward Burton, the 22 car, trying to go by Mark Martin. That's about it for the 5th position. And Ward hanging tough on the bottom of the racetrack in that 22.
Yeah, BP, you mentioned earlier that 22 car was working on the bottom. If he can stay there, he'll pass a lot of cars. If you can keep your car on the bottom of the racetrack here, you'll pass a lot of cars.
And Mark loses another spot, and in jeopardy of losing another spot to Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car.
So Ward Burton to 5th, Sterling Marlin to 6th. Mark hanging in there, now losing 7th to Dale Jr., and he falls in line at 8th. Whoa, look at that. Sideways.
It's like a little contact between Tony Raines in the 74 and Mark Martin.
Coming through. Great drive by Tony Raines.
I'll tell you, that team has done such a good job compared to, they don't have near the budget these other teams have, and these guys are doing a good job.
You saw the sign on the quarter panel of Tony Raines' car, and you wonder what it was about. Lowe's Motor Speedway having a concert October 7th. The appreciation for Winston's involvement for the last 33 years, and Bruton said, I want to do something nice for those folks. So He asked Tony Raines to carry the sign tonight, and he is, and doing a very good job of carrying that sign around.
Jeff Gordon, the race leader, by 0.6 of a second over Jeff Burton. Jeff telling his crew a few moments ago over the team radio, his car is really good.
Obviously, everything's pretty good here. A little concerned about the brakes. You know, they were vibrating a little bit, but other than that, things are good. It's a little bit loose off, but other than that, real good. Turn the middle good.
When he says little bit loose, that means it's okay.
And this is a place you use a lot of brakes. Brakes are a concern here. You see a lot of guys run a lot of hoses to the front calipers, pulling the air off the nose of the car to cool those rotors. It's really hard on brakes.
Third place, Ryan Newman. Matt, got an update?
Well, he's running in third. You would think after finishing second here twice, he would go back to the same setup and shock package, but they found a certain feel in a shock setup at Darlington that Ryan likes. They brought that shock package here. He's running very well. The car, though, is tightening up in the center of the corner, loose off. They were going to pit under that last caution if the leaders came, making a track bar adjustment. But Ryan is very happy with the car, and the brakes that Matt Borland tells him are not looking bad at all from high atop the pit box.
And that glow that you see in the front wheels, that is the brake rotors glowing red on Ryan Newman's car. Matt Borland says, looks okay to me. Looks red to me.
Yeah, that's the thing you watch. The cars actually that don't have that much red in the rotors, they're being easier on brakes. And if your car doesn't handle well here, if it is a little bit tight where the car doesn't turn, you tend to use more brakes. So if your car's handling good, you'll use less brakes.
Greg Biffle feeling some pressure from Ward Burton for fourth place. I talked to Ward's crew chief, Frankie Stoddard, this afternoon in the garage area. He said, yeah, we've got a pretty good car.
I agree with Frankie as he goes by Biffle.
Let's see if we can catch his rotor, DP.
How about we watch another guy moving up? Jimmy Spencer, the 7, started in 22nd place. He's working on Tony Raines for 8th. Look at this.
Check that out, huh? That's kind of blatant, isn't it? Well, that's good.
I talked to his crew chief, Tommy Baldwin, this afternoon. He said, you're going to like our onboard camera tonight. And I said, well, it's Spencer on a short track, right? He said, no, the decal on the dashboard. Matt?
Well, last year with Ward Burton, Tommy Baldwin's car led 130 laps. He told me tonight the setup almost identical that he had over the 22 car. Jimmy said the car is very good. He added a little bit more front brake to help him, but Tommy did warn him, be easy on those brakes because the front rotors are already starting to glow.
But see, that's like I was saying earlier. If your car's tight, in order for you to stop and sliding up the racetrack as much, you use a little bit of brake. But the problem with that is the brakes will get hot, and it'll cause you problems later on in the race. That smoke coming out of the 6 car?
So Jimmy Spencer by Tony Raines up to 8th, and we check out 2nd place, changing hands. Ryan Newman by Jeff Burton. So Newman up to 2nd. He's got a pair of runner-up finishes here out of his 3 previous Winston Cup starts at this track. And now he finds himself 1 second and 48 thousandths behind that man, Jeff Gordon. Now, Jeff is on the 50th lap. When he comes back around to the start-finish line, he will complete lap number 50. Put the old New York City taxi cab up to remind you that the official race leader at lap 50 is Jeff Gordon. You need that information to win a trip to this year's Winston Cup Award ceremony. To serve as a special correspondent, log on to NASCAR.com and check out the NASCAR Big Apple Sweepstakes for rules and your chance to register every week. 50 laps into the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond International Raceway. Jeff Gordon is your race leader. Back at Richmond International Raceway and in traffic, Ryan Newman has caught up to Jeff Gordon, and he's trying to take the lead away.
The problem that Jeff Gordon has right now is he's caught Steve Park and Christian Fittipaldi, and they're running exactly the same place that he wants to run in the 24 car. So it's slowing him down about 0.3 of a second a lap.
And Newman is trying to use that bottom lane to get up underneath Gordon, but can't quite get alongside.
Jeff better be careful not to box himself in like he's doing right now. Newman will take advantage of that if he can. But I don't know if Jeff's car is working good enough to be down there where Ryan's car is to get underneath the 43 car.
Well, I think that it isn't, and that's the problem that he has. That Ryan's car was not good enough to make that pass on the bottom either. As we see, Jeff Burton, Ward Burton have both caught this race for the lead.
Yeah, starting to bottle up.
Yeah, right there off the 2, it's real difficult to be side by side. When you're on the bottom and you get on the gas hard, your car wants to slide up into the wall. So it's real difficult to come off of turn 2 side by side when you're the guy in the bottom. Dave?
You remember the radio transmission you heard a little while ago where he said it was a little bit loose off. He repeated that on lap 50. He also said he's a little bit tight in the middle. So not bad for Jeff, obviously leading the race, but something starting to change in his 24 car. Matt?
Dave, Ryan Newman still trying to take a shot at the 24 to get that position, but the car is still too free. Now he says it's free on both ends. You just can't keep it on the bottom to try to get that position.
Yeah, man, it looks like the 12 car is working really good through the center, but you can see he's having a hard time getting on the throttle to pull off the corner, and that's where you're going to be real loose if you're underneath the car.
Oh, we got a crash.
Front straightaway, Greg Biffle.
Wow.
And Mark Martin.
Keep taking nobody around you.
Oh, I think Mark just came out of the smoke.
Don't let them pass you. Caution is out. 74 is trying to get on the outside. Keep digging. Still there. Clear. Good job, bud. Heck of a job.
Check out the smoke screen. Biffle was running in 5th, and it looked like he did a fly-in 360 and kept on going.
Michael Waltrip has a right front tire flat, and man, look at the sparks fly.
We got a right front.
Dragging the front suspension pieces, sway bar links, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, they run these cars. Everybody runs these cars so low now that when you do get a flat tire, everything is right there dragging on the ground.
Problem is, by the time he comes down pit road and even just gets a right front tire put on it, he might go a lap down.
Yeah, I believe.
Oh yeah, Biffle just got loose.
Just lost it. Junior gets by and he nails the gas, does that 360, and somehow gets the wheel going straight and says, only lost 2 spots.
I give him a 10,
cool.
10 for that. High scores.
Now watch the smoke screen. Mark Martin gets thrown up in front of him. He's running in 10th. Biffle spins in 5th.
Easy. Go low, go low, go low, go low, go low. Clear, clear.
And here comes the front of the field onto pit road, Dave.
With the leader, as soon as I made my report, he then radioed in real tight in the middle, real loose off. They will make a track bar adjustment and take air pressure out of the rear tires to help try to get that car a little better grip coming off the corners. Marty?
Jeff Burton's team had some trouble on pit road last week at Darlington. Paul Andrews had smooth stop, guys, a little loose under throttle. 1 round down on the wedge on the left side. Burton's off pit road, Bill.
Earnhardt Jr. on his way. Look out for traffic. Had a vibration. They were trying to fix it there. We'll see if they did. Pat.
And service already complete for Ryan Newman. 1 round down on the track bar. A great stop. They beat everybody off pit road. He even had to go around the 0-1 car of Mike Skinner.
Michael Waltrip did get on and off pit road without losing a lap. The 2 cars did not pit. Jason Leffler and Mike Wallace. So we're under caution here in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Greg Biffle smoking them out on the front stretch. We follow the race for the championship on TNT and NBC.
And here's a good chance for Robbie to get one of those laps back because he's on better tires than Leffler or Mike Wallace.
Robbie Gordon, 31. Car in the inside lane, trying to get a lap back from leader Jason Leffler. Leffler in the 0 and Mike Wallace in the 09 are the only 2 that did not pit under this caution. Dave, how about the 0?
Well, you talked about better tires. Jason Leffler only took on 2 right side tires on a lap 25 stop. He was a little bit loose off the corner. They made an air pressure adjustment for that, so Jason only has 2 fresher tires, I guess you should say.
Michael Waltrip's problems continue.
Yeah, I noticed when he came out, when you were mentioning he stayed on that lead lap, Alan, his car was still sparking, so they have something that's dragging that's going to cause them more problems.
Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon is trying his best to get by Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman, the 12 car, won that battle off pit road between himself, Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, Ward Burton, but Jeff couldn't make that pass, could not make it work. Weber, what's going on with the 15 car?
Broken Heim joint, Benny. They're going to try and fix it while they pit here, but it's a broken Heim joint.
I guess on the front stabilizer bar that hooks the lower control arm to the stabilizer bar on the right and left side.
Dale Jr., 6th place. You know, we saw this earlier. Ryan Newman got inside of Jeff Gordon, couldn't get that run in that bottom lane to pass him. Now Gordon is on the inside and Newman's on the outside.
But this is a better time to do it. It's easier to do it when you're on fresher tires. The only problem is, BP, don't you think, I mean, when you run down on the bottom, you race hard, you take a little bit of life off the tires when you're racing this hard.
Well, these guys that are running up on top, like the 12 and 99, I agree with you. They're not using their tires up quite as much as Jeff Gordon. Bill, what about the 8 car?
Well, Benny, a number of things going on. Junior thought he had a vibration. He thought it might be a problem with the rotors. They sent Tom Ryan outside the track to look at the right front rotor. He said that looked fine. It's something they've done at this track before. So they came in, they changed 4 tires, fuel, no adjustments, couldn't find anything wrong with the tires. So they're hoping that the vibration just mysteriously goes away. We'll see what happens.
Here's the race for 3rd. Go ahead.
And check it out, the 29 car of Kevin Harvick. Where did he come from? He's on the inside of Junior trying to take over the 6th position. And he started 28th.
I asked because I saw Harvick had moved up so quickly if he took 2 tires on his pit stop. No, he got 4. Great job by his team. Stacker 2 Winston Cup track fact, lowest starting position of a winner on Richmond's 3/4 mile track. 25th by Matt Kenseth in this race 1 year ago. Kevin Harvick started 28th.
Getting back to what Weber said on that 8 car with that vibration, maybe why they sent the guy on the outside of the racetrack to see if that rotor on the right front was glowing, to see if maybe it was a brake stick vibration.
Yeah.
Harvick inside of Ryan Newman.
It could be that Junior is not using as much brake as he needs to. Air coming in there and has the brakes too cold on them. I can't believe that, though, here at this racetrack. Brakes being too cold.
Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton, right behind Junior, 8th and 9th place. Michael Waltrip back on pit road, while up front, the 2 drivers who did not pit under this caution flag have checked out from this group a little bit. These guys all racing side by side, and so the front 2 have gotten away.
That's good racing.
Jason Leffler out in front. Mike Wallace is 2nd. Those 2 drivers up on 3rd place, Jeff Gordon. And the rest, lap 78 is complete here at Richmond. Back at Richmond International Raceway, caution is out. The championship leader, Matt Kenseth, has gone for a spin, and Elliott Sadler has got knocked around in the traffic jam up behind him. Don't think he hit anything, Kenseth.
A little bit with the right side before it spun out. I don't think I got any damage except for getting run over.
See, he has hit the wall with the right side. We can see where he's put that Darlington stripe or pancake flat in that right side. Let's see. We see some damage on the left front fender as well.
And on the left rear.
Kenseth and Jamie McMurray there, 24th position.
Looks like he got into the wall. And then the car of Todd Bodine got in the back of him. Todd had nowhere to go on that one.
I don't have any bite off the corner.
Sounds like his car's still pretty loose. No bite off the corners means the rear tires are not gripping.
And, you know, we saw Matt Kenseth hit the wall at Darlington last week and kind of ruin his car. It never performed after that like it had previously.
Elliott Sadler getting knocked around in the traffic jam.
Listen.
Oh, yeah, and he was off the throttle right before he hit the wall because rear tires had lit up. He lost traction, and he was sliding up to the wall. Marty?
Wally, they've really struggled with this car being loose today. They came in earlier, pulled a rubber out of the right rear. This time, 2 rounds down on the track bar. Water's 235, so they're going to pull a little tape off. A little left rear damage on the car as well for the championship leader.
12 lead lap cars pit under this caution, including the leader, Jason Leffler. Mike Wallace did not. He is now out in front, while the championship leader, Matt Kenseth, is going for a spin. Green flag is just waved in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. Mike Wallace is the leader, has not pitted since lap 25. Jeff Gordon is 2nd, Jeff Burton 3rd, Kevin Harvick now 3rd, Jeff Burton 4th. No, I had that right the first time. Burton, then Harvick. Then Ward Burton 5th. It's the lap car, Robbie Gordon, I'm looking at, getting confused with Harvick.
But you're going to be right, because right now the 29 car, Harvick goes in the inside of Jeff Burton, trying to take that spot away. And Jeff Gordon trying his best to get by Mike Wallace, and the 09 car can't do it.
Mike Wallace driving for James Finch in that 09 team. Limited schedule this year. Ran Daytona and Talladega very successfully for them earlier in the season. Got another few races to run for them in the remainder of 2003, and by not pitting, he's taken over the lead.
Can Jeff Gordon hang on the bottom? Can he stick well enough?
He really can't. You know, they really, I mean, obviously they're about to take the lead, but I really think they need to get that car to work on the bottom in the center of the corners better, because Jeff is really fast off the corner.
Jeff Burton trying to get around.
And he gets in the back of Mike Wallace.
Now Wallace into turn 3 and up the track, and here comes Gordon again.
Now this time Jeff should be able to float it in a little bit deeper, be able to get off of turn 2 in front of Mike.
Oh,
Mike tried to hold him down, didn't he?
barely got by.
A couple things to update you on. Michael Waltrip made an extended stay on pit road. He's back on track, 12 laps down, 43rd place. After the problems at Bristol and Darlington, it's been a lousy 3 weeks for Mikey. Also, Elliott Sadler, after his spin on that last caution, did what they call pull up to pit. Instead of staying in his spot in the line of cars and cutting off the pit road when they got to the opening, he drove up to the inside of some cars and then went to pit road, and that cost him a lap penalty from NASCAR. Elliott's back in 42nd place. Crash on the backstretch, all jammed up. Steve Park is in it. Kyle Petty is in it.
Bill Elliott just got booted.
Johnny Sauter's also pretty heavy damage to the front of the Kodak car.
And I think he's got the radiator on that one.
There's Kenny Wallace. Looks like he doesn't have a whole lot of damage.
And that's Dave Blaney, top of the screen. The 77 nosed into the inside wall.
A lot of debris back there, though.
My guess is there'll be some mad drivers over this now.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that would be like 5 or 6 right off the bat.
Yeah, we could run the total up pretty big.
Yeah.
Kyle Petty.
Oh, man.
That's too
What a
bad.
shame. Kyle qualified 10th for tonight's race. Instant messenger note to Steve Park. Your race car's a mess.
There's a worm. A worm in the system.
Johnny Sauter tonight will not go as well as last night did. And Dave Blaney.
Well, gee, I wonder if there was some contact on this, BP.
My guess is it's, let's see.
Back out here, back out.
Not really. I mean, there was contact after Dave Blaney got a little bit sideways.
Got to add Dale Jarrett's number to that accident list.
He snuck in there. Snuck out of there without
I don't think
sand.
Elliott hit anything
I think he
I
got
think
hit
he got hit.
in the back.
in the jam up. Right there,
Yeah,
Johnny
there you
Sauter
go.
got him.
Well, he plowed him in the back hard, didn't he?
Yeah. You know, one problem about this racetrack with the sealer, although the sealer has been, the track has been sealed for a while, is that it does make a lot of smoke when the tires spin on it.
And when that smoke gets up and starts reflecting off the light system,
You cannot see a thing. All those guys back there, they can't see what's going on.
They
Even
have-
the spotters can't see what's going on.
But the spotter has the best view.
better than the driver. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we heard Mark Martin's spotter, Tim Overby, guiding him through go low, because Mark couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
so Craven started to drive away from his pit, and apparently the lugs weren't on the left front tire,
And
the
it fell
tire
off.
came off.
Yep.
So now he's going to have to come back in because they left the pit box with equipment to go put the tire back on the car. 17's in, championship leader. Matt?
This would be stop number 2, Alan. That's okay for Matt Kenseth. He feels like they did not get the damage fixed last time. He says something on the right front is dragging the racetrack when he goes into the corners. They cannot find anything that could be dragging, so they got to figure out what that might be. Matt says, I can live with it.
We've got 8 guys.
Eight guys. We'll put Todd Bodine on the list, too. Coming up on the 1/4 point of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. For some of these guys, it's been one wild night already. While we're under caution here at Richmond, here's our NASCAR Busch Series update. You saw it earlier if you were with us on Discover Card Countdown to Green. What a wild finish with Johnny Sauter knocking around with Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth in particular to win last night's Busch Series race. Tight championship. They race at Dover, Delaware 1 week from today. Actually, 2 weeks from today. Truck Series, Tony Stewart back to the front in Andy Petrie's truck to win here on Thursday night their championship. Also, very close. Trucks race in New Hampshire next Saturday afternoon. Marty.
Let's check on the championship leader, Robbie Reiser. Did you got all the damage fixed?
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of damage. It just been struggling with the chassis here. I don't know. We got the car pretty far off for some reason. Yesterday we were real good in practice, and we don't seem to have it right here. But what happened was it just pushed up and got out of the gas, got hit from behind, but it really didn't damage the car much. We just got to get the car to handle better for me.
Matt said he feels like something's dragging the track on the right front.
Just when he slid through the grass, it knocked the skirt loose, and the skirt's dragging on the ground, but it's no big deal.
They can live with it, Bill.
Mark Martin was just about to pit under green because he had oil all over his windshield. This is the tear-off they just took off of there. He said he couldn't see anything, especially with the lights here at the track. They got him in, got him 4 new tires and a clean windshield. We're under caution, 100 laps on the board in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Jeff Gordon, your leader. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The Chevy Rock and Roll 400 on TNT, brought to you by Chevrolet. Wherever there's a winner circle, we'll be there. Budweiser, the best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. And Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
How about our Coca-Cola family of racing update as we're under caution here in Richmond? Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, all in the top 10. Some of the others not as far up as we thought they might be.
No, that's for sure. I thought Tony Stewart would really be a contender here tonight, and he may be before the night's over.
And talked about Michael Waltrip. What a lousy 3 weeks it's now turned into for Mikey. Johnny Sauter not having a good night tonight. Let's hear from him.
Yeah, Johnny, our meeting last night was a lot more fun than the one tonight. What happened?
Not really sure. I mean, Bill Elliott, I saw him checking up in front of me. A couple guys got together, and I was mowing down, but I guess the guys behind us weren't mowing down, and got hit from behind and shoved me into Bill Elliott, and here's the end result. Kodak Pontiac's tore up, and I hate it for these guys. They work so damn hard, and just want to try and give them a good finish like we did last night, but we'll just get it fixed, get back out there.
A lot of damage to this car. They will make it back out to limp around, but that's about all they'll do tonight.
And some of the scenes from last night's race here at Richmond, where Johnny and Matt Kenseth got into it racing for the win, and Johnny's Richard Childress teammate Kevin Harvick had a little discussion with Kenseth, and not as good a night tonight here in Virginia's capital city for Johnny Sauter. He's behind the wall. Big crash has put about 8 cars with some damage. Richmond International Raceway tonight full with 105,000 fans. The Chevy Rock and Roll 400 under an extended caution just past its 1/4 point. An 8-car wreck on the back straightaway, and a lot of oil dropped around this racetrack that they're sweeping and cleaning up. How about our singular race talk poll? I've seen some things in various racing papers and some newspaper columns and so on about questioning whether night racing was good for the sport where the local Saturday night track is concerned. As more Winston Cup races are run on Saturday night, is it good for local racing? The farm system of the sport, if you will. So we want your opinion on that. 7 night races next year. You want to see more night races, less night races, 7 just about right? What do you think?
Well, I think that
Dial it up.
That's too many.
Okay. We'll find out what you think a little bit later on. Jeff Gordon's leading. Of course, Benny, that's your opinion, but we know you're kind of headstrong, right?
110 laps on the board at the Richmond International Raceway, under caution with Jeff Gordon, the leader. Let's check down pit road with Marty Snyder.
Tony Raines had a bullet tonight, Bill, but you're in the garage area. What happened, Tony?
Well, this is heartbreaking. This is the best car I've had all summer. Had a awesome handling car, and looks like we broke the fuel pump or something and probably pumped the motor full of fuel, and it's going to be a short night for us, and it's downright frustrating.
And you can understand his voice and his tone. Conventional wisdom in the garage area is that they laid down some oil on the track, and that's why everybody spun. Alan?
Seems like they always blow up when you've got a really good race car. They never blow up when they're not handling.
Coming to the restart after a very long caution. Jeff Gordon leads, Mike Wallace second, Kevin Harvick third, Jeff Burton fourth, Ward Burton is fifth. 32 cars on the lead lap. A couple things to update you on. Steve Park was penalized a couple of laps by NASCAR under this extended yellow. he had damage from the accident, and he sped down pit road a couple times. They warned him, sped again, so they parked him for a couple laps as a penalty for conduct detrimental to the sport. Dave Blaney and Kyle Petty have come back on track after time in the garage for repairs. They're both 17 laps down, 40th and 41st places.
And you see Kevin Harvick in that 29 car, the gold car. A different look for Harvick this week, but the car is fast. Right on the back bumper of Mike Wallace for second position. And by the way, I gave Tim Overby credit for spotting for Mark Martin. That was not true. Chris Morris is the spotter for Mark Martin. Overby is the 31 spotter.
Harvick looking on Mike Wallace for second spot.
And meanwhile, Burton looking for Harvick for third spot.
Well, Harvick's car looks so good on the bottom of the racetrack. Just can't get the bite off the corner. Dave, what's going on? What's Mr. Harvick saying about his car?
Well, Wally, they were tight for the last time they stopped, and they put tape on the front grille. A little more downforce, a little bit better in the turns.
Kevin Harvick, without question, the hottest driver in NASCAR Winston Cup racing these days. Finished second the last 3 straight weeks. Moved himself up to third in the championship. Mike Wallace, 09 car, has not pitted since lap 25.
And we thought that he would make a pit stop during that last caution flag, but he chose to stay on the racetrack. He loves just running second.
Very, very few pit stops except for the accident-damaged cars under that last caution. Harvick driving deep into the corner. Squeezes by Mike Wallace. So Jeff Burton to second, Kevin Harvick to third, Mike Wallace fourth, and Jimmy Spencer in fifth. Behind them, Ward Burton trying to hold off Dale Jr. for sixth.
Uh-oh. Trouble in the
John
back.
Andretti.
Looks like Biffle got in the back of Johnny Andretti on that deal.
And the big stack up, Jason Leffler, Jamie McMurray. Might be a couple others in the cloud of smoke.
And Jarrett again.
I see Dale Jarrett sitting there all crashed in. Looks like Christian Fittipaldi got a piece of it too.
I think we've already beat the Bristol deal, EP, on anger.
Oh, now some of these are repeaters.
Jason Leffler.
Right?
Yeah.
Kurt Busch got a piece of it.
Whoa.
Nice. Todd Bodine with all kinds of sparks.
I think I almost became a hood ornament.
Showering from his machine. There's John Andretti. There's Dale Jarrett, 1 in 88. And here come the leaders to pit road, including Mike Wallace finally. Dave?
Jeff Gordon was worried before that last restart about all the debris they had run through, but that wasn't a problem. His car just a little bit tight in the middle, just a half pound of air pressure out of the right front tire for changes on Jeff's cars. Marty?
Jeff Burton liked the way the car felt that time, Dave. It'll be 4 tires and no changes for this 99 bunch. Good stuff going thus far, Matt.
A little free on the previous stop. Bill?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is here and does not like the handle of his race car at all. It's 4 tires. He's also concerned about the brake pedal. It's soft. Back to you, Matt.
A little free on the last stop. Track bar adjustment has help, but Spencer's going to have to back up. He's going to lose a lot of positions because the 12 car Ryan Newman blocked him in.
Boy, and Newman was there for a while, too.
So we can see what happened, Wally.
Well, I think if we'll watch the one car there, and Biffle just get in the back of the one car and turn them sideways and stack them up.
Meanwhile, the wreck happens coming off turn 2, 100 yards behind the first wreck, just the chain reaction.
And they're still wrecking down the left corner of the screen.
You see the damage on the one car where Biffle got in the back of Andretti.
And there's that cloud of smoke we talked about that's so hard to see through in the lights. On board
forward to Dale Jarrett. Comes off the corner trying to get by Kenny Wallace.
He got hit getting off a 2 by Kurt Busch.
How about the championship leader, Ram Kenson?
On the backstretch. Come on the backstretch. Back it down. Got one at the bottom there. Just keep coming up top. And one slow there.
Looks like Mike Skinner got into the 42 car.
They're all around.
Mike Helenoff, the spotter for the 17 car, got in him through the debris.
The mayhem.
The mayhem.
And there it is. John Andretti, Greg Biffle. Tangling, bringing out the caution. 5th one of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. The angry driver count up to about, what, a dozen?
Yep.
That's a good number. We'll be back in a minute. TNT Sports live in Richmond, Virginia, where another 7 drivers have just been involved in a crash off turn 2 down the backstretch. Cleanup is complete, and we're coming to the restart. First 7 in line did not pit under this caution. Kevin Harvick, Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Casey Mears, Bobby Labonte, Matt Kenseth, and Kenny Wallace. They're now the top 7 drivers, did not pit under the yellow. First off the pit lane, Jeff Gordon in 8th, then Tony Stewart 9th, Jeff Burton in 10th.
The first car in line is Robbie Gordon, the 31 car, who is a lap down.
And that puts Robbie tail end of the lead lap if he can get a caution, BP.
Yep.
You get the 3/4 of a mile pass around and rejoin the hunt for a top finish.
Well, we got Tony Stewart in the wall in 3, so Robbie will get his lap back.
Caution is out. Tony Stewart running 6th. Sorry, that's the 6th caution. Tony Stewart was running in 10th spot. Now let's see if anybody else gets a lap back. Herbie Sadler's trying. Ricky Craven's trying.
They ain't gonna make it.
Robbie Gordon will. Made up 3 laps in the May race here. Did Robbie Gordon to finish 4th. He's back on the lead lap now, and we're not at halfway. So caution number 6.
Let's see if we can see what might have happened to Tony Stewart going into turn 3 here at Richmond. He's on the outside of Jeff Burton.
Whoa.
And Burton tried to go in on the outside of the 38 car of Elliott Sadler, and Tony was 3 wide. Didn't work too well.
That was kind of strange, that little deal to the right first.
He bounce off Burton there coming down into that corner.
Well, we can see
Get a good look right here.
Yep, that's what it was.
Clear.
Just got
The
loose.
wall, caution the wall, caution's out, caution's out.
So Tony Stewart goes from racing for 9th spot to 27th place after he and Jeff Burton tangle. And Stewart goes around up in the corner. Under caution again, you're watching NASCAR on TNT. Let's check out the McDonald's drive-thru pit crew championship, fueled by Powerade. Bill Elliott's team, fastest on pit road among participating teams at Darlington a week ago. 20 grand for their efforts, and Michael Waltrip's team continues to lead the season-long standings over the Dale Jr. crew. Watch this on pit road. Sterling Marlin's crew trying to repair their car.
Steve Wolf. He tries to put the tape on the right rear quarter panel, and Sterling drives away. Steve's not happy.
The reason he took off is he was trying to beat the pace car.
I wonder if we can add the angry crew member roster to the angry driver
It all
roster.
counts, yeah.
Coming to the restart. Kevin Harvick leads. Terry Labonte 2nd. Ricky Rudd 3rd. The 32 car of Ricky Craven is now the first one in the laps down line. He's 2 laps down, trying to get one of them back. bottleneck off of turn 2. They keep those guys running in that low lane. It's like every time they come off that corner, they look like they're going to run up into the guy that's on the outside.
A very tough exit off turn 2. By the way, cue the duck. There he is.
Aflac NASCAR Winston Cup Trivia Quiz. Who was the last driver to win consecutive Winston Cup races at Richmond? I got a hint for you.
Okay.
Can you figure out what the hint is?
Terry Labonte.
We got a camera on him.
Oh.
Terry Labonte, this race, September 1994, and the March race, 1995. His consecutive wins, part of a run of 8 straight top 10 finishes at this track. Bill, Terry's up to second now.
Yeah, they elected to stay out, Alan, when the caution came out last time when a lot of guys in front pitted. Jim Long, the crew chief, made the call. Haven't touched the car all night. Very happy with it. Went for track position. So Terry, winner last week, going for 2 wins in 6 days after not winning for over 4 years. That's a good week.
Casey Mears was up in the top 10. He's fallen back after this.
Came off the corner, looked like Greg Biffle earlier, or Matt Kenseth earlier in the race.
Casey slipped back now to 11th place, and some more cars running up to his inside, trying to squeeze by.
I tell you, Terry Labonte and Kevin Harvick, all those guys in the front that decided not to pit this last time, if they got back in that mess, I don't blame them for not pitting.
Well, you know what? It always looks like when we come to these racetracks, any racetrack anymore, if you're in clean air, even if you're on a little bit older tires, the cars are faster. These guys in the back are on better tires, but they're having a hard time getting through the traffic.
Here's the race for 6th on back. Kenny Wallace in the 23 is 6th. Jeff Burton tried to take it from him, and Dale Jr. just around Jeff Gordon. So Jr. picking up the 8th place and trying to get under Kenny Wallace there. Dave?
Yeah, Kenny last pitted on lap 95. He was a little bit tight to the center off the corner, so they took a rubber out of the right rear, and they've been adjusting on that car all night, and now they have track position.
3 NASCAR Busch Series wins here for Kenny. A little signal to Jeff Gordon. I'm expecting you to go low. And Michael Waltrip there in the picture, although Mikey 12 laps down, back in 36th place.
But it looks like they have fixed Michael Waltrip's car, whatever the problem was. Looks like they have it repaired. His car's up to speed, but as you said, many, many laps down.
A lot of comings and goings from the garage area here in the opening laps. Let me catch you up on a couple of things. Dave Blaney, Kyle Petty back on track, 17 laps down. I think I said that earlier. They're in 37th and 38th. Todd Bodine, Christian Fittipaldi behind the wall at the moment. Tony Raines back on track, 39 laps down, 41st place. Bill Elliott, Johnny Sauter behind the wall, getting repairs made to their cars. Junior up to 7th.
Bill, Junior looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, looking better now, Benny. Got 4 tires last time, up to 7th on the grid, but he continues to worry about that right front tire. Trouble on the track.
Casey Mears again. This time he caught the outside wall, a good one.
He was struggling. We saw him make contact just a few laps ago, and he was struggling off turn 4 again. And this time Kenny Schrader came up and plowed in the back of the 41 car. And a lot more damage than the last time.
Add 2 to the angry driver total. And the caution flag out once again. This is number 7. Okay, let's investigate.
There we see the 49 car. The white car comes off the corner, and Casey, a little bit of contact, and around goes Casey.
Well, if he was pushing up toward the wall and had to get out of the gas.
That's exactly what it was. He was pedaling.
Back off the throttle, and Schrader ran in the back of him.
Some pit stops. Kevin Harvick is in, and Ricky Rudd, a couple of the top 5. Jamie McMurray's in. Mark Martin, Tony Stewart. Marty.
Bunch could have stayed out till lap 206, Alan, but they decided to come down pit road now. Car's been pretty good for Ricky. They will make no changes on the stop, and it will be 4 tires for the 21 bunch.
See the Tony Stewart on pit road there in the Home Depot car. He is, in fact, still on the lead lap. Did not lose a lap. Still on pit road, repairing the car, trying to get it better.
That's a Home Depot-sized Band-Aid right there.
Yeah, that is.
That was a very pretty race car. about an hour and a half ago. Terry Labonte did not pit under this caution flag. He takes over the lead. Meantime, Casey Mears into the outside wall. Ouch. Here's our Chevrolet in-race leaderboard. Bow ties running in 3 of the top 5 spots at the moment. The Labonte brothers first and second as we come to the restart. Terry and Bobby did not pit under the caution. Most of the lead lap cars stayed out this time. Kevin Harvick, who was the leader until the yellow, now back in 21st place on this restart. You know, we were all kind of laughing during the commercial break between ourselves. This one's starting to look like the Bristol race a couple of weeks ago.
It really is. As Bobby Labonte, the 18 car, drives on the inside. This is for the lead.
Not quite. Far enough.
That inside groove, you just can't get the grip that you need off the corner to drive up alongside that car in front of you.
Bobby Labonte finished second here in the race back in May. Terry Labonte, we've talked about his success at this track already, Bill.
Yeah, and during the last caution, Alan, the conversation between the 5, Terry Labonte and crew chief Jim Long, it's a little tight, but it gets better the longer we go. They talked about coming in, decided to stay out. Jim Long said we need 40 to 50 laps. He said at some point, we're going to have a long green flag run. By the way, the 18, they stayed out 2 cautions ago because Bobby Labonte made the call to stay out. Said the car's not terrible. Let's get out of this traffic, stay up front, see what happens. The Labontes battle for the lead. We go down pit road to Snyder.
And one guy was trying to catch him, Jeff Burton, back there in 3rd. At the beginning of this run, he came on the radio, said, Paul, this is the best the car's felt on new tires all night long. Then a moment ago, he said the car feels really good, really turning well in the center. He tries to go underneath Terry Labonte into 1. How about that, guys?
Second place. And Dale Jr. lurking right behind him.
Oh!
Great save, Jeff Burton.
Jeff Burton, why, you are the man.
That is a great save. And if you notice, Dale Jr. could have passed him there, but he did not mean to get in the 99 car. He backed off, left Jeff Burton catch the car, get back in front of him, kind of like a sorry about that.
Yep.
So that was a nice move on Dale Jr.'s part.
Regroup and try again.
Yeah.
We said, ooh.
Watch here. Got in the back of Burton. Dale Jr. just checked up, but he could have gassed it right now and went by the 99 car.
Because the 99 has lost a tremendous amount of momentum trying to get the car back under control. And you're right, that was a very nice move on Junior's part.
Kurt Busch has had all kind of problems since the restart. He's just scrubbed the wall off turn 2.
Now, I've been watching 97 car all night, and he has drifted high about 5 times during this race. He gets down in the corner, and the car goes way, way, way up the racetrack in the marbles, and it takes him like 2 laps to get back going again. So I don't know what's going on, but he has been struggling all night.
Remember that Kurt was involved in one of those early accidents and has some damage to the nose of his car.
Now the other Labonte, Terry, is trying to take the lead away from Bobby. Just the opposite of what happened about 5 laps ago.
These two guys have such a great relationship with each other, and there's enough of an age difference between them. They really never competed against each other and younger in their racing careers. Winston Cup was really the first time, and it really must be neat for them. I know it's neat for them. Bobby and Terry both told me to get out there and race against each other, especially at the front of the pack.
And you can notice when those guys race each other, you can see the respect between those two guys. They never force the issue. They give enough room to each other, and you can tell that they're having fun racing each other.
So Bobby gets shuffled from the lead back to 4th as Terry and Jeff Burton and Dale Jr. go by. A little farther back, this is Ryan Newman and Mike Wallace for 11th and 12th place. Johnny Benson right behind in the 10 car.
Battle for the lead. Here comes Jeff Burton on the inside of Terry Labonte, and Junior trying to figure out who to follow.
Trying to get around Burton the hard way.
And looks like Jeff Burton is going to take the lead.
Pressure tires. And we saw Dale Jr. get into Jeff Burton, and we talked about that he didn't mean to do it. Here was his reaction on his team's radio earlier when that happened.
give it to him, but I wanted him to know to think about it twice next time.
Think about it twice next time. Don't cut me off when I get up in that position again. Matt Kenseth, the 17 car.
Underneath Terry. It's 5th place there, BP, and here comes Mongo. And Spencer.
That dog will hunt tonight, won't it? Talking about the 7 car, Spencer.
And of course, remember, as they tell us on the onboard camera in his car, they need a sponsor for next year.
Dale Jr.'s taking a look. See if he can keep that thing on the bottom in 1 and 2, BP, because he's going to have to be dead even with Burton getting off the corner, I think, in order to have a shot getting in a 3. Nope.
Can't do it.
Like you said earlier, Wally, that bottom line off of turn 2 is not the fastest way off that corner.
You need the whole racetrack. You need to drift up to keep your momentum going. When you're underneath the car, you have to turn the wheel a little bit more. Scrubs a little speed. The car wants to get tight. Wow, Burton bobbled a little bit, getting into 3. That's the second time getting into the corner that Jeff Burton bobbled a little bit. Now it looks like he may have enough.
Little slide job here as he moves up the racetrack.
Yep.
And Dale Jr. goes out in front of the event for the first time tonight. Big roar from the grandstands. 11th different driver to pace the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Jr. carrying the group stained on board his car, and he's giving him a heck of a ride right now. 164 laps complete at Richmond.
More than 100,000 fans here at the Richmond International Raceway on a spectacular Saturday night in the Commonwealth. They come out to see these cars twice a year race under the lights at Richmond. The fans love it, and so do the drivers. We're going to try it. Hope the jinx isn't working. We're going to take you through the field, starting with that car, number 8. Big roar as Dale Earnhardt Jr. got to the front of the field. Still somewhat concerned about his right front tire and his brake pedal, but right now, he's leading. Marty.
Bill, how many of these 105,000 you think would love to see the guy in the 99 car win? Hometown state jet man Jeff Burton. A little bit loose right now for Burton, but they want no changes on the next stop, Dave.
The 24 car of Jeff Gordon talked about coming in on the last pit stop, and he said, man, it is so hard to pass here. Let's just stay out, Bill.
Bobby Labonte in the same car that finished second here in May, but it's not acting the same. Doesn't feel like the track bar is working. He's fighting it a little bit, but running up front now, Matt.
Jimmy Spencer very happy with the car. Tommy Baldwin says no complaints at this juncture. Just trying to bounce back from being blocked in by the 12, Marty.
Our championship leader, Matt, has the car that won this race last year. I asked Robbie Reiser how this interesting night's been going. He said the car is just okay right now, Bill.
Terry Labonte still looking for that long green flag run, but we check in on second place. The 24 and the 99 going at it. Burton in front of Jeff Gordon with Bobby Labonte right on the bumper.
Not quite. Not quite. Gordon keeps trying. We saw this movie earlier with the 24.
Yeah, Jeff just can't get that car low enough. I think that's been his problem all night. The car's really good in and it's good off. He just can't get to the bottom to make the move to get that nose far enough up at the door of the 99 car, like right here. Yes. Well, he did it that time.
He might have him this time.
Got some slower traffic ahead. Kyle Petty back on track after time behind the wall. You see his beaten up car from one of the early wrecks. Kyle's going to go all the way to the bottom of the front stretch and give him room.
Now Bobby Labonte's trying to do the same thing to Jeff Burton, trying to get by.
He's got enough.
Take over third spot. He's going to do it. And here comes Jimmy Spencer in that 7 car. God, he's running good tonight.
Okay, so where were we? We were going through the field somewhere, Bill.
Yeah, talking about Terry Labonte getting that long run now. Jim Long said they wanted 40 to 50 laps to see how the car would handle. Not quite what they were hoping for, but a lot of time to work on it, Matt.
Ward Burton not happy with the car in the previous stop. The track bar adjustment has actually made the car worse. He wants to back up on that and try a wedge adjustment on the next stop, Dave.
The 09 car of Mike Wallace, it's tight when he starts out. He last pitted on lap 121 for an air pressure adjustment. He was a little bit tight. Just got around Kenny Wallace, who continues to do very well on old tires. They must pit by lap 235. They last pitted on lap 95. Marty?
Jimmy Johnson up into the 10th position now, getting past Kenny Wallace. You see that on the racetrack right there. Ryan Newman trying to track those two down. Johnson had a big break earlier, had a left rear tire going down, and the caution came out. They were going to pit under green car, a little bit loose, Matt.
Already the 12 car working the bottom, passing the 23, a hole in the right front headlight. They're going to try to fix that on the next stop, but the car is loose up off the corner. But he has worked the brake bias. It is starting to tighten up, Dave.
Kevin Harvick gave up the lead to pit on lap 145, and guess what? They will only have to pit one more time. They are in their fuel window. A fuel mileage race again? Yep, probably. Bill?
Quiet night for Jeremy Mayfield, but the last transmission on the radio, if this thing would get a green flag run, this car would haul the mail. I think he said haul the mail. Matt?
Bill, that's how Mike Skinner feels about that 01 car. Started at the back, even though he qualified on the pole in his third car this weekend. They're just working slow tweaks here and there on that car. Meanwhile, his teammate, the 10 car, not quite as happy with his car. They've been working with wedge and 2 tires on that last stop, Bill.
Rusty Wallace in a brand new race car. They built it and brought it here. They never took it anywhere to test. The big change in their last pit stop, or one of their earlier pit stops rather, rubbers out of both rear springs. The car's better, not great. Marty?
Been an interesting night for the man who started on the outside of the front row, Greg Biffle. He's been involved in 2 spins. He survived with minimal damage thus far. Tight, especially off of 4 right now for Biffle. Dave?
Dale Jarrett's car involved in an accident earlier. They've been in several times to fix the damage. The last time he came in, lap 95. No changes to the car. He's just a little bit loose right now. Marty?
John Andretti's hanging in there in 20th. Remember, he was involved in the accident earlier. He's got enough tape on there to make the car hold together for right now. They've been fighting tight off of the corner for most of the night. Bill?
Mark Martin pitted on lap 145. Fuel, 4 tires, half a round of wedge. They lost the positive position by pitting. Now having to work their way back up.
Remember, Tony Stewart spun about lap 130. That's how Robbie Gordon got his lap back. He came in, he put on 4 tires. No changes to the car. The car just a little bit tight in the middle of the corner right now. Marty?
Remember Jamie McMurray involved in the accident earlier as well, Dave. Everybody talks about Kevin Harvick being the hot guy. How about this kid? 2 straight top 5 finishes. He's going to have to pedal if he's going to get to the front tonight. Does have some damage on the car. Ricky Rudd running up front earlier, pitted a little while ago, took on 4 tires. They made no changes. Says on this set of tires, cannot stand in the gas like he did on the last set. Doesn't like this set as much as he did the last one. Sterling Marlin behind him also has a lot of damage on that car. They're just trying to survive the night. They had a great car earlier, just a little bit loose. Matt?
Kenny Schrader running 26. They were better on the run earlier in the race. They've made some adjustments to work on that tightness in the center. It really hasn't helped a whole lot.
And Schrader is now last on the lead lap, that 26th place. Marty, something going on with the 99?
There may be a problem for Jeff Burton running second just a little while ago. He's fallen back to the 6th position now, Alan. He said, I think I might have a right front going down. Paul Andrews telling him just to remain calm. Let's see and ride it out. Let's see if it can stay on there. Right now, they think they may have a right front going down in that 99 car. Well, Jeff Burton on track right now, but he has fallen back to 6th place. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out in front as we close in on halfway, and we've now run the most consecutive green flag laps that we have all night long.
And
we got through the field.
And we made it all the way through 20 spots. And Junior's now 2 seconds in front.
You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Tony Stewart had just been overtaken by the leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. and put a lap down, and his problems have compounded themselves.
Those guys in the backstretch are getting their money's worth, aren't they?
I'm telling you. And you know, you can't see Tony and all this with these cars when they spin. You can't see him for the smoke. But I think that was the only car involved. I did not see another car involved, and unfortunately, Junior's 2-second lead is now nil.
Tony Stewart was in 27th place at the time of the spin, and we are under caution for the 8th time in the race. And we're not to halfway.
Boy, he got loose way, way, way back there, about when you're jumping on the throttle. Looks like all his tires are, yeah, those tires are up.
Oh, keep it off the wall. Good job, Tony.
He had really fallen back. I mean, lost a lot of ground just before this happened.
Danny Kohler, the spotter for Kevin Harvick. That in his drop.
And here they come. Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, first three in, Dave.
Jeff Gordon's car is tight, air out of the right front, down on the track bar to try to fix that. Marty?
Championship leader's been through a little bit of everything tonight, Dave. The car tight off. He said it's not turning terrible, so all they do is a half pound in the right rear, Bill.
Junior tight in the middle. That mystery vibration is getting better. The car is better than it was. This is 4 tires and fuel, Matt.
Due to the problems on his last stop, Spencer tried to get a different angle, but he stopped too short. Then he tried to pull forward, ran over the air hose almost. A lot of cars are going to go by. This is going to cost them a lot. They finally get the left in the rear. On the front, Spencer loses a lot again on pit road.
Ouch.
Yeah. Man, that is too bad. He has a great race car tonight.
Let's see, he came in, what, in 5th, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12th is where Jimmy Spencer is going to come out. Under caution, just shy of halfway in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. Back at Richmond with our Chevy Rock and Roll leaderboard. How the cars carrying the Rock and Roll group's paint schemes are faring tonight. Some pretty good, and some not too good.
Yeah, Hootie and the Blowfish with Michael Waltrip. Some problems. Bill?
Bill would be checking out a story for us.
Okay, good.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. off pit road first.
One thing I noticed about the 8 car there, hi there, their rotors were not glowing, which is good. I mean, they're running fast and not hard on the brakes.
You wish to say, Mr. Weber?
Yeah, I was busy talking to some of the guys on the A team, and in fact, here are some of those guys.
Tony Geary Sr., crew chief, Kannapolis, North Carolina.
B. Hoover, windshield tear off, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Dan Earnhardt, front tire carrier, Kannapolis, North Carolina. Phil Drive, front tire changer, Concord, North Carolina.
Kevin Cannell, Jackman, Kannapolis, North Carolina.
Troy Prince, rear tire carrier, York, Maine.
Jay Guarneri, rear tire changer, Naples, Florida.
My name is Jeff Clark. I'm the gas man, and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Bill Snyder, catch can, Oswego, New York.
They got it done, kept their man out in front. Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Terry Labonte, and Matt Kenseth, the top 5. Rest of the top 10, Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Ward Burton, and Ryan Newman. 25 cars on the lead lap, and we are just past halfway.
Tell you what, that 24 car really looks good on the after a tire change for the first few laps.
Well, don't forget, Dave said they made some adjustments to try to get the tightness out of that car, so we'll see if they went the right way.
Tony Stewart, after his spin, 1 lap down, 27th place. Bill Elliott back on track after time in the garage, 96 laps down, 42nd place. Christian Fittipaldi back to the garage after just a couple of laps on the track at a reduced speed. Matt Kenseth and Jeff Burton, 5th and 6th place.
The last time off turn 4, Burton was the same spot, and got that car very loose, trying to get by 17. This time, he continues on in front of 17, takes over the 5th position.
Tell you what, another night, Matt Kenseth making a good night out of a bad night. He brought out the caution at lap 85, restarted 39th at the end of that yellow. Now was 5th when the caution came out a minute ago, restarted 5th after his pit crew did their job.
Jeff Gordon is good. He drives on the inside of Junior. But he's not able to get that car down in the corner deep enough to do the slide job.
Gordon led most of the early laps of this race. In fact, he's led the most laps tonight, 2 occasions for 90 laps. Next highest total, Dale Jr., who's led 41.
Just right at the left rear quarter, but just can't need almost to get to the door.
Dave, is there saying the 24 changes were good?
They are good, and this car, as Jeff goes for the lead down the front straightaway, and it looks like he's going to get it in turn 1. You might remember this car. Bugs Bunny was on it last year. Remember what happened in practice after qualifying?
No.
Yeah, it wrecked. Doc, it wrecked.
Yep.
And so they fixed that car, and this is the same one. It's good here at Richmond.
Dave, you're not going to start doing your Elmer Fudd imitation, are you, Dave? That was last year.
No, that was Marvin the Martian, not Elmer Fudd.
Oh, that's right.
He's still fighting for it, guys. He doesn't have it yet, does he?
No.
He might have it now, though.
Yeah, he's far enough this time through the corner.
Oh!
point. Well, but this is where he needs to be getting in a 3.
Junior would not give it up. I thought Gordon had it, but Junior would not give it up.
There are 105,000 seats here at Richmond. They're all empty right now because everybody's standing up watching Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. race for the lead. Junior hangs on. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had led only 5 laps in the last 4 Richmond races prior to tonight, but despite only leading 5 laps in those races, he finished 3rd twice and 4th once. Of course, he won here the May 2001 race. Still holding off Jeff Gordon is Dale Jr. Bill.
And in a car that he really likes, Alan. This is a car they race a lot. It's been here 4 or 5 times. They've used it at Loudon. They used it at Homestead. Tony Uri Jr. and Tony Sr. told me earlier today they really didn't work much on this car. No major changes since they got here. They just kind of massaged it to get it to the point where Junior was happy. So far, so good.
And so good for the fans, too. I just love this racetrack's layout. Since they opened it in 1988, we've seen this kind of racing. Side by side, lap after lap. It's terrific.
Well, the outside here is one of those places where if you're driving on the outside, you can drive in deep and keep the grip. The inside of the racetrack is obviously the shortest way around, and it's usually the quickest. But you get great racing like this because you can drive the car on the outside and you can drive it in hard.
Tony Stewart said last night in our NASCAR Busch Series broadcast when he joined Wally and I, memo to future racetrack builders. This is the deal.
Yeah, this is terrific. Why would you want anything but something like this?
Great racing. Bobby Labonte trying to close in while those front 2 knock around. And Jeff Burton hanging in there with him. I guess he didn't have a flat, huh? That was earlier, I know, but he hung in there.
A little contact there is.
I think Jeff's car is probably a little bit quicker than Earnhardt if he can get by him. Got a pretty good run right there.
Oh, squeeze play. Squeeze play was right.
Okay, I've had enough of this. Coming through. Jeff Gordon out in front. Do we put Earnhardt Jr. on the list of angry drivers now?
I think he's probably a little bit mad right now, but see if Junior will drive away from him now. Because like I said, I thought the car was a little bit better than the 8 car right now. We'll see.
Asked your opinions earlier with our Singular Wireless Race Talk poll about should there be more, less, or just about right as far as the number of night races on the Winston Cup schedule. A lot of you said more.
More, yeah. I figured I would be in the minority, but again, all the local tracks, a lot of local tracks around the country run on Saturday night, and I just hate for us to be competing with them, is my only contention.
On the other side of the coin, there is a school of thought that says if the local Saturday night racing is as good as it can be, the presentation when you get to the racetrack and so on, that the people will come anyway.
I hope they will.
Because they make VCRs for this stuff. Johnny Benson and Jimmy Johnson here, VP.
Right behind Jimmy Spencer. That's 11th, 12th, 13th.
Spencer went up the racetrack a couple laps ago and lost a couple spots over in turn 2. Like he really had his hands full there for a second. Jimmy Johnson, one of those teams, you know, that they really just have kind of been so-so all weekend. They really haven't had that kind of solid up front weekend that we see them so often do. Qualified 26th, he's just been middle of the pack most of the night. Holding off Benson for now. We're back in 12th and 13th places, well behind his teammate Jeff Gordon.
And Mike Wallace joins that battle.
And Earnhardt got back up to the 24 car.
Yeah, that 8 car was tight, but it's getting a little bit better now the longer they go, Wally.
And he's probably a little bit motivated, too,
yeah. I think motivation is the biggest thing he has going for him right now.
Headstrong, headstrong.
I just wondered if he'll squeeze Jeff a little bit just to say, hey, that wasn't cool.
If he gets a chance, he will. He might, coming off turn 4.
I don't know if Jeff will give him that chance.
Just can't say that. house on their feet here at Richmond. Up the lap, Dave Blaney.
Junior's car gets in through the center so strong. I mean, that's where it's really better than Jeff Gordon right now. It gets in the corner and gets through the center. Just closes right up on the back of the 24 car.
You know, we heard a lot of worry about his crew, about his brakes earlier. Because he's such a hard charger into the corner, I would suspect he would be a little tough on him.
But I tell you what, see, there's 17 cars. You see those rotors glowing, but they're not really glowing on the 8 car.
Bobby in fourth. Matt Kenseth trying to take it from him. Bobby will hang on to that one for now. Jeff Gordon holding off Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the top spot for now. Got 177 laps to go in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond.
The Chevy Rock and Roll 400 on TNT. Brought to you by Chevrolet. Wherever there's a winner's circle, we'll be there. Tropicana Pure Premium. Nothing but the juice. Tropicana Pure Premium. And Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy.
We're into the second half of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. 232 complete, 168 to go, and Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are the top 2 spots. Drivers occupying those positions with Jeff Burton and now Matt Kenseth behind them in 4th and 5th. Kenseth, 3rd and 4th. Kenseth passing Bobby Labonte for 4th lap ago and putting Bobby back to 5th.
Looks like Junior might have his hands full. Car is certainly not handling as good as it was a moment ago, is it, Bill?
Certainly doesn't seem to be, and looks like he might be using up some of those tires, even though they don't fall off that much. But while you're driving around back there, you can talk to your crew chief about how to make your car better. Here's the Dale Jr. and Tony Jr. show.
I want to just think about, I know it was standing up on that right rear or whatever. Yesterday when we put that rubber in, you got loose in, tight in the middle, loose off. Remember that? So that's what that half a pound air pressure did. So just keep in mind, I might have you take a half a pound out of left rear before this next set.
Just thinking all the time how to make the car better. Again, they were a little bit worried about the right front. That seems to have improved. Not much talk about that brake pedal being soft. So Junior running around looking for another win at Richmond. That's a big car to get by, though, that 2-4.
And maybe Junior's just decided, look, you know, why punish my car? I'm not going to win the race if I pass the 24 car. We've got to make another pit stop. Why don't I just ride behind him and see what this car does in another 20, 30 laps?
Jeff Gordon has led laps in 14 of his 21 career Winston Cup starts at Richmond. He's led the most laps tonight, and he's out in front seeking what would be just his second win of 2003. And what a lousy month August was for Jeff Gordon.
Not too good.
Yeah, we talked about this in Bud Pole qualifying Friday afternoon here on TNT. Jeff said that he turned another year older in August, and that was the best thing that happened to him all month. Some traffic now. Look at this. How about our Lowe's improvers? People who've gained the most positions over the course of the race so far. Kevin Harvick running in 6th spot. Started 22nd. Terry Labonte 32nd tonight, but Mike Wallace gets the nod.
Mike's having a good run tonight.
And people have not fared so well. All these drivers involved in accidents earlier and back on track, but limping around and not having a lot of fun. In fact, Todd Bodine is not back on track. He's back in the garage area right now. So you got your good and you got your not good.
And as Wallace said, Mike Wallace, the best of the good.
Ryan Newman continuing to pick up some spots. Just got 7th away from Ward Burton. He passed Terry Labonte a few laps ago to move up another spot also. Matty?
And Newman is happy with the car. It was loose, but it is starting to tighten up the way he likes. No adjustments on that last stop. One of the reasons why he reeled in the 22 car, Ward Burton. One other reason, Ward's car was loose on entry. We told you during the through the field about the track bar adjustment, wedge adjustment. They did that. Ward says the car, though, is just too tight on late exit. He's losing too much time, Wally, and you can't have that, especially here at Richmond, and run well.
Yeah, it's really important to get off the corners, Matt. We were talking about that earlier, as we see Dale Jr. trying to get underneath the 24. Almost slid up there a little bit, BP. That was almost a slide job.
Almost a slide job. It couldn't quite make it. Did you see the sparks fly from under the 8 car when he went down the corner?
Dragging that front wheel. Oh, got a little bump and run here going on, maybe? I couldn't tell if he nudged him there.
Now, watch the 24 car. See how hard he drives. No, he did kind of let Junior take that spot there.
BP, did you say something about sitting around and waiting and passing later or something?
Well, okay, so he said, I think I'll go on past this 24 and get out of here.
A little wave out the window there. So Dale Jr. out in front. And this will be the 3rd time tonight he's led. A lot of lap traffic now for leaders. Been under the green for a little bit here. Went under the green just at the, went back under the green just past the midway point. So another 44 laps under the green here, and Dale Jr. out in front of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. TNT Sports live from Virginia's capital city with live coverage of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Beautiful night here for early September. 105,000 seats. They're all full tonight. Another sellout crowd at this racetrack watching Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon lock horns for the race lead. Just past the midway point of the race now, lap 252 of 400. Junior leading Gordon by 9/10 of a second. Matt Kenseth is up to 3rd. Bobby Labonte 4th. Kevin Harvick 5th. Ryan Newman 6th. Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Burton, Ward Burton, and Jeremy Mayfield now rounding out the top 10. Jeff Gordon falling back off of Dale Jr. a little bit, Dave.
And Alan, he had been quiet on the radio this entire run until Junior passed him. And then he made a comment about the brakes, and it wasn't good. So he's still not happy with those brakes. He talked vibration earlier. This time he was less specific. He just doesn't like them.
Well, they don't look like they're that. The rotors doesn't appear to be red or something like that. Maybe he doesn't like the balance, front to rear balance.
He's still doing okay. I mean, he's in 2nd place. But
well, when you get
time.
past, you got to come up with something.
Yeah, okay. That's true. I forget these things from the driver's
We have
perspective.
a list of things that all of a sudden, oh, you know what, all of a sudden, let me think here. My brakes aren't too good. I've got a vibration.
Jeff Gordon been talking a lot about brakes, and brakes so very important here on the short track in Richmond as we go to our Home Depot virtual garage.
Let's take a look, BP, at the Home Depot virtual garage here. You know, here at the short tracks, you got to get all the cooling you can to the brakes. You see these hoses? They cut holes in the front of the car. It pulls the air up these hoses, and it cools off the rotors and the caliper. The cooler the rotor and the calipers are, the better your car slows down. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about keeping those brakes cool. Real important here on a short track because you really abuse them.
And one thing about those brakes, once they go away,
yeah, they don't come back. You have to start pumping them. And if you have to start pumping them, then that makes a lot of work for the driver.
Because if those brakes, rotors get too hot, then the fluid starts to boil. And once you get air in the line, then you lose your brakes.
Yeah, the pedal actually, it feels like it fades. When you hit the pedal, instead of the pedal being hard, it keeps going and going and going, and not a good feeling.
Something going on with Mark Martin, Bill?
Just a second ago on the radio, you guys get ready, get ready. That's Mark to his crew. They may have to pit. Mark says the right front tire is gone. Last pitted on lap 196, so by Allen math, that's what, 54 laps ago.
Wow. Now, he didn't mention a flat tire. He's talking about a tire being worn out.
God.
Wow.
Well, this 12 car, I'm telling you what, last 20, 30 laps, he's been smoking, man. He's been flying.
And the other guy, we talked about Jimmy Spencer struggling a little bit, but it seemed like the farther we've gone on this set of tires, all of a sudden Spencer's cars come back to him on that.
No changes on that last stop, Alan. What's come back to Spencer? His focus and rhythm. A lot of debate under that last caution about what took place in the pit box. It took Jimmy a few laps to regain that focus and regain that momentum. He is slowly moving up. Consistently, his lap times are mirroring the leaders or even faster, Wally. But how tough is it to regain that rhythm and regain that focus when something bad happens, especially out pit road?
Well, if he wasn't at driver intros, he would have seen Wally's World, and I would have talked about the focus part. But yeah, it is. Whoa. And there he goes again. He got up there. You know what? You're always focused, but the thing is, I think what happens is when you have a good race car, you come in the pits, and there's a screw up in the pits, you have to get that out of your mind. And he lost a lot of spots. He's got a good race car, but you know, you really just need to put that behind the BP and go.
Well, you have to somehow, some way, but the adrenaline is flowing so much in these drivers. When something like just a moment ago when Ryan Newman came up and almost pitched Jimmy Spencer on the wall, you just explode. I mean, the adrenaline is so strong, and something happens in the pits, you explode, and it does take some time for all that to calm back down and say, okay, the job is to get this car around the racetrack as fast as I possibly can.
But sometimes when something like that happens, you just displayed when your adrenaline's pumping, you start overdriving the car because you want to get back to that guy to give him a little bit of a payback. So got to be a balance.
Here's a fast car. 19 of Jeremy Mayfield, Bill.
And the longer they run under green, the faster he gets. The car starting to get just a little tight in the center. Last time they just made an air pressure adjustment, got trapped in some traffic, worked through it, and marching forward. Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 looking for his first top 5 of the year. Marty?
Bill, just seconds ago, Jeff Burton came on the radio as a lot of cars are trying to get around Burton. Said, I'm tight, I'm loose, I don't know what I am. What's happening? He goes into turn 1. There's always been bumps in turn 1, but now their car's running so soft that his car is hitting those bumps harder than it ever has, just throwing his car way off. The car is very tight for Jeff Burton, and now there's a spin on the track.
Jamie McMurray spun right in front of Jeff Gordon. He and Dale Jarrett bounced off each other, and McMurray went around right in front of the 24, and Jeff got through.
And you know what? That 42 car was high in 1 and 2, and I bet you he had a bunch of those marbles and stuff on his tires.
Ernie Sadler got a piece of it also.
That's too bad.
A lot of cars sliding up there in 1 and 2. I think if you get out of the groove a little bit, it just really sucks you up to the wall.
All right, going to see everybody on pit road, and these could be the last stops of the night. 132 laps to go. Pace car gathering up the field. Let's check it out.
Yep.
In fact, Dale Jarrett in the 88 car is the driver that got on the inside and banged into the 42 car, and Jeff Gordon somehow, some way drives through that smoke and misses the wall and the 42 car.
Look at all this guys
the 42 car had it gathered up after the 88 car got into him.
Let's see what Matt Kenseth might have seen on board his car.
Double trouble, got one spinning the front stretch, backing down right in the middle. He's right in the middle. Keep coming here, keep coming, keep coming.
Pit stops, Dave.
Jeff Gordon's car now loose up off the corner. A little wedge adjustment to fix that, Marty.
Dave, the most important guy on the stop for championship leader Matt Kenseth could be Benji Grubbs, the gas man. Right on the edge of their fuel window, 4 tires, no changes, Bill.
No changes for Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking for a fast stop so we can get back out with the lead, Matt.
No adjustment for the 12 car, Ryan Newman. He's just going to work his way around the 01, who's pinned a little bit longer in his box. It's going to be a race off. Who's going to win it, Alan?
Oh, it's close. I'm going to give that one to the 24, but the 12, the 29 picking up some ground on that stop, and the 8 losing.
And it is the 24 car, and then the 12.
There's Harvick, and where's Junior? Still to come. So Junior is not indestructible here tonight. How about a Wrangler 5-star finish on the old Fairgrounds half-mile layout here at Richmond, February 1986. A classic. Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip tangled, racing for the win. Caution comes out with 5 to go, and Kyle Petty weaves his way through the mess and becomes the first third-generation NASCAR Winston Cup Series winner. For more on Wrangler 5-star finishes, log on to NASCAR.com. Had some track position change hands on these pit stops.
See, Junior was a big loser from 1st to 4th. Gordon took over the lead. Harvick stayed the same. And Newman, what a great pit stop for those guys. 5th to 2nd.
1:26 to go as we get the restart.
Yes, I believe that we probably have seen some guys make their last pit stop of the evening.
Under green.
Under green. Well, under caution, Bill, I think they might stay on the racetrack for track position.
Ooh. How about the 12 car, Matty?
Well, he's going to have to stop at least one more time, Alan. Looking at the fuel calculations, Matt Borland told Ryan we are about 15 to 20 laps short.
Wow.
Really?
Wow, that's not great.
Ryan Newman running second to Jeff Gordon. On board Kevin Harvick, the third place driver. And Matt Kenseth, Bobby Labonte, 5th and 6th places. Labonte trying to take the spot from Kenseth. Up front, here comes Newman.
On the outside. How about driving up on the outside of Jeff Gordon to take the lead? Harvick's going to try the same thing. Something wrong with the 24, Dave?
Jeff thinks the right rear might be flat. That's how bad it feels right now.
Yeah, you can see him a little bit loose off the 4 there. So I think he's just going to be careful here for a lap or two to make sure that it isn't flat. That's what you got to do. When you think you have a flat tire, you don't want to pull in for sure. You want to kind of make sure you have a flat. You want to hope that it's just the pressures or something like that. But
Squeeze there, huh?
a lot of time.
Jamie McMurray, 42 car, not on the lead lap. He's
See,
the
there's
first car
Jamie.
1 lap down.
He got that thing sideways again.
Well, what happened? The 18 car got between them. He was 3 wide, but he wisely went to the top to give the 18 some room, but as you said, too high.
Let's talk about low tire pressures. Somebody like Jeff Gordon on that restart. They drop the tire pressures for the restart to deal with the buildup. As the tire heats up, the air pressure, the molecules do their thing, and the pressure builds inside the tire. Is it easy to be fooled by a low tire pressure in the first couple laps after a restart?
Absolutely. These tires are so sensitive. When you think they're taking out or putting in just a pound of pressure, you'd think you wouldn't feel that, but you really do feel it in these tires. And yeah, Alan, if your pressures are too low, the car is real wormy or squirrely until you get those pressures built back up.
Their air pressure gauge that they use are in tenths of a pound, like 10.2 pounds per square inch.
Bobby Labonte's got it going on after this restart. Just took 3rd away from Dale Jr.
But what you have to be careful of, you know, you're trying to obviously get the pressure down so you're better on the long run. But in the meantime, you know, Newman's out there 2.5 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon right now. And that 2.5 seconds sometimes is very difficult to make up.
Newman, Kevin Harvick, Bobby Labonte, now the top 3. Dale Jr. back to 4th. Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Spencer race for 5th and 6th. And behind them, Jeff Gordon now back in 7th and really being jumped on by the pack. Here's Spencer working on Kenseth. 5th place.
Spencer's car has been really good tonight.
Been terrific, and it's even better on the long run. So if he can keep this thing going and just maintain for the first 15, 20 laps, I think he's going to be okay. Talking about Spencer in the 7.
Jimmy's car gets off. It looks like this last couple runs, car's been getting off the corners really strong.
Ward Burton just got by Jeff Gordon, putting the 24 back to 8th place. Now Jeff Burton is working on him for 9th. And up front for 2nd place, Bobby Labonte is rolling.
How about Labonte? And I tell you, they made wholesale changes to this 18 car today because they said he was terrible.
You know, BP, I spent some time with Bobby up in the transporter late this afternoon before the drivers' meeting. I said, you finished 2nd here in May, same car? He said, yep. I said, going to have a similar result? He said, nope, we're not good. Whatever they did on it has worked.
Well, not only that, but they made a lot. They must have made a lot of changes here in the last couple of pit stops, too.
Jeff Gordon, meantime, really hoping for a caution flag.
Well, there you go.
Oh, a hard crash. Elliott Sadler is backed into the wall in turn 1.
Looks like the safer barrier might have worked for Elliott Sadler's car. Safer barrier being the softer wall technology that this racetrack has installed for this race.
First put in at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway a couple of seasons ago now. And BP, that softer wall is something that you've been advocating for a long time.
Long time, since the late 90s, not even the mid-90s. And I tell you, when I walked in here and saw that, Alan, I felt so good that finally it's there.
I don't know if those body guys are going to agree with the softer wall term.
Oh, no, it's still a wall.
Well, that's why softer, not soft. I think the people that call them soft walls, I'm sorry, that's a misnomer.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Elliott Sadler, home state of Virginia. 90 miles from here is his hometown. It's going to be a long trip, those 90 miles tonight.
It's hard to say what might have happened to cause him. And that was some heavy. Yeah, the body man, there's nothing soft about that, they will tell me.
Pit road is closed because the safety equipment there is on the apron where the cars exit the pit lane. So let's get our break in here. Got a busy weekend next weekend here on TNT. Bud Pole qualifying from New Hampshire. Friday at 3 Eastern Time. And NASCAR Winston Cup racing next Sunday for New England. Coverage starting with Discover Card Countdown to Green, 12:30 Eastern. That's NASCAR on TNT next weekend. Pit road's open.
Okay, any takers?
Got one, Kevin Harvick. Going to give up third place.
Jeff Gordon, we know, is going to come down.
He'll give up ninth. And then Terry Labonte from 12th will come in. Dave?
Jeff radioed into his crew, guys, whatever we did on that last stop, take it out. You killed it up off the corner and getting in the corner. So it was a wedge adjustment. They're going to reverse it, put on 4 tires, fill it full of fuel. Bill?
Terry Labonte down pit road. The car is loose off, so it'll be 1 round down on the track bar. Terry also has a braking problem. He really has to mash the brake pedal to get the car to whoa up. He's concerned about a vibration on the right front. They think it's a warped rotor. He's on his way.
Now, one thing that will help these brakes are these yellows, because it'll cool the brakes down. So that's a little bit of relief on them.
A lot of lead lap cars and front runners in particular stay out under this caution, though. Ryan Newman and Bobby Labonte. Now Dale Jr. up to third under caution here at Richmond. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Here's the tote board.
Okay.
Angry drivers tonight.
Oh, angry drivers.
And are characterizing them as angry by they've been involved in something to tick them off.
In a crash.
Check it out. There are a total of...
There's 11. Oh, man, there's a big group of them.
How about 21?
Man, so we have surpassed the Bristol list.
Now, we saw Elliott Sadler getting out of it, throwing his steering wheel around and marching to the ambulance. I know he's angry, isn't he, Dave?
Well, he may have cooled off a little bit, BP. Elliott, what happened?
Something let go in the rear end, or either we had a flat tire. It kind of spun out on the straightaway. Batted to a softball. I want to come in Richmond on these softballs, and as I was spinning out, I didn't want to hit driver's side, so I actually let off the brakes. So it going there rear first, but great job on the softballs. Just a long night. We got wrecked by the same car 2 out of the last 3 races, but I want to apologize to everybody at M&M's and Ray Bestis and everybody, and try to get them next week in New Hampshire.
All right, thanks, Elliott. Alan?
We start with 107 laps to go. Ryan Newman the leader, Bobby Labonte second, but getting a lot of heat from Dale Jr. for that spot.
Comes Longo.
Spencer fourth, Matt Kenseth fifth. Guys that pitted. Kevin Harvick was third. He restarted 11th. Jeff Gordon was 9th. He restarted 13th. Terry Labonte was 12th. He restarted 14th. So that's where the guys with the tires are in the restart order. Those who pitted under the caution: Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, Johnny Benson, John Andretti, Mark Martin, Robbie Gordon, Mike Skinner, Kenny Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Dale Jarrett, and Mike Wallace. All lead lap cars.
I think those guys made good moves.
I think they did too, because I think they can make it the rest of the way. Weber, why did the 8 car not pit? You have any idea?
Because they can make it. They can make it because Jeff Clark, their gas man, told me he made sure he packed that fuel cell. But their pit stop last time, a little over 16 seconds because they had a lug nut hang on the right front. That's what cost them track position. Remember, they came in the leader, but didn't go out that way.
Yeah, they went out fourth there.
Well, I assumed that they couldn't make it. That's why they did not pit. So that means that Bobby Labonte and I think the 12 car have to be thinking about going the rest of the way without stopping.
Bobby Labonte cannot make it. Cannot.
Wonder why in the world he didn't pit.
Unless.
Because they want that track position. You never know. If they end up running 25 laps of caution here, then they could make it. But right now, they cannot if it goes green.
There's the point I was thinking of making. They get a lot of laps of caution, they're still up front. If they can stretch it to where they can make it to the finish. And if they run enough laps of green and get another caution, then maybe everybody's going to want some tires.
Could be. We'll see how it plays out.
Yep. That's why I'm glad I'm not a crew chief. I don't have to make those decisions.
And now those are some really tough decisions those guys have to make, and they have to make them in the spur of the moment.
And Wally's glad I'm not a crew chief because there's no chance I could be working on his car.
No chance.
How about Ryan Newman, Matty?
Before that caution, they told Ryan Newman there was no way they could make it. Now with the caution flag laps, it's even going to be close. Matt Borland and the guys crunching the numbers right now, though he says it's too close. Meanwhile, Tommy Baldwin said the 7-car Spencer 3 laps shy if they pitted that last time. So Wally, they're just going to roll for it and see what happens. Maybe they'll get some more caution flag laps.
Well, that's a good gamble because there's a good chance we'll see some more.
100 laps to go. We're at the 3/4 mark of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Our Napa Field summary tonight, 12 leaders, 20 lead changes. Jeff Gordon has led the most laps, 126. Earnhardt Jr. led the second most, 76. Ryan Newman next at 26. A lot of cautions tonight. A lot of beat-up race cars, but only 3 cars retired from the race. Elliott and Hermie Sadler and Christian Fittipaldi out. Everybody else back on the racetrack, even though they might have spent as much as 155 laps in the garage getting repairs made. Lead lap 22 of the 43 starters. Jimmy Johnson is the 48 car racing for 9th position now. He just got passed for 8th spot by the 19 car of Jeremy Mayfield.
To the 97 car Kurt Busch, he's a couple laps down.
28th place for him.
Johnson goes by.
Slipping back, and Jeremy Mayfield moving up. You know who we haven't talked about really at all tonight? Mr. Richmond, Rusty Wallace. Most wins, most top 5s, most top 10s, most races led, most laps led on this 3/4 mile track. Rusty is not led tonight. He started in 17th, and Bill, he's running 11th.
Yeah, it was in the top 10 a second ago. This car is new, and they just cannot get it figured out. It's loose, it's tight, it's loose, it's tight. They believe they can make it to the end on fuel. The question is, will the handle come to Rusty? So far it hasn't, but they keep hoping.
Well, it's been better than the last few weeks have been for him.
Oh, yes.
Well, I can tell you that I was walking through their pit, and they said, are you surprised to see us here this late in the race?
Yeah. Not on their way to the airport, having loaded their car up already after it was wrecked, like they did at Bristol and Darlington. Championship leader Matt Kenseth. Talked about it earlier tonight, was involved in an accident back at lap 83, making decent nights out of their worst nights. They were involved in a wreck, could have been a problem. Here he is running 5th.
And Jimmy Spencer right now is losing contact with the top 3 cars. He is 2.5 seconds behind the leader, Ryan Newman. Marty, how about the 17 car? What are they saying?
It's pretty good, BP, and while we're on the subject of fuel mileage, this 17 bunch can make it all the way, even if we go green for the rest of the race.
So Matt Kenseth, your championship leader, looking like he's going to have another good night. He's in 5th place right now. And he is 2.8 seconds behind the driver of that car, Ryan Newman. 92 laps to go here at Richmond.
26th race of the NASCAR Winston Cup season, the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 here at the Richmond International Raceway. A 3/4 mile track that the fans love to watch all the action on. Ryan Newman had the spectacular run going a week ago, then killed it with the kill switch. But he's back out front again tonight. Let's take you through the field and start with car number 12.
Car 12 running first. Newman trying to win his first career short track victory. Winston Cup has the car but not the fuel at this juncture between 7 and 10 laps short, Bill.
Bobby Labonte and Michael McSwain talked about pitting last time, decided they would gamble that a caution might come out, so they stayed out. Now the caution is out.
Caution is out for debris in turn 2. And a big caution break for Jimmy Spencer, who had just lost several positions. Sounds to me like his car might be on 7 cylinders, Bill.
And Earnhardt Jr. hit that debris. His crew was jumping on the wall, and it's a big savior for him. He'll be coming in.
Okay. Well, we can look for one of the top 5 to pit.
Boy, he's going to hate to do that, because right now we have 22 cars on the lead lap. And unless a bunch of these cars pit, there's no way he can get this 8 car from 22nd back to the front in 80 laps.
All right, here they come to the opening of pit road. Who comes in? Who stays out?
I think a lot of cars are going to come in.
Stops will come with 80 laps to go. Leader Newman stays out. Junior stays out. Bobby Labonte, though, comes in. Junior hung the right at the last second. Most of the lead lap cars are in. Marty?
Your championship leader, 4th place, Matt Kenseth, will come in. Car just a little bit tight. He said if we can get a long run, we can win this thing. 1/4 pound in the right rear, Bill.
Bobby Labonte going to use this opportunity to come ahead and get fuel and tires, so they'll top it off. Will be good to go to the finish. Hoping those 4 tires will help him out, and that ensures their fuel.
Ryan Newman and, surprisingly, after what we just heard, Dale Earnhardt Jr. do not pit, along with a few others on the lead lap. We'll reset that for you when we come back to the Richmond International Raceway. You can have a good run at Richmond gone in 60 seconds.
I'm telling you, Jimmy Spencer's run is gone for the night. They made a pit stop, raised the hood, but still very slow.
And we can hear that engine BP, and I think that's going to become a lot uglier before this race is over.
Restart, 77 laps to go. Ryan Newman leads, Dale Jr. 2nd, Kevin Harvick 3rd, Robbie Gordon 4th, Ricky Rudd 5th.
But his Junior's tire's okay. That's the thought right now. Does he have a flat tire? First corner does not look like it.
Terry Labonte and Mike Wallace in 6th and 7th complete the cars who stayed out and did not pit. Johnny Benson first off pit road in 8th, followed by Matt Kenseth, Jeremy Mayfield, Mike Skinner, no Bobby Labonte yet, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Burton, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon 15th, Ward Burton 16th, Bobby Labonte 17th.
Bill, what about the 8 car? Has he said anything?
He hadn't said much since they went back to green, but they said a lot of stuff under caution. Junior said he hit the debris, was concerned about coming in. Said, I know I hit it. I can't tell if the tire's flat. I can't tell that from in here. You guys will have to decide. He wanted somebody to run outside the track to see the right front. Well, they didn't have time to do that. Junior stayed out. You see him moving the car around to get the feel of it. Then he and Tony Eury had a speech, and Tony Eury Jr. gave him a very inspirational speech about winning the race. So you can imagine how that might have gone. So even if that tire is going down, Junior's going to drive even harder than he has been.
I'm sure that Tony Jr. said, you are the man. And get in there and get by those guys, right?
You're pretty please or something.
Yeah.
Or words to that effect, yeah. Jimmy Spencer to the garage. Tough luck. Ryan Newman out in the clean air, trying to hang on to the lead. Dale Jr. pressing him hard in 2nd, and Kevin Harvick trying to stay in touch.
You know, it looks like to me, Wally, that before this caution flag, there was some question in Junior's mind, some of these guys' mind, can we make it the rest of the way? Those 2 or 3 laps on the caution flag had said, okay, no problem with fuel. I think Junior's running harder now than he was before this caution flag.
Yeah, because that element is completely taken out of their minds now, so they don't have to worry about saving fuel.
And Harvick, now he pitted after these guys did, so there's no question in my mind he can make it the rest of the way.
Johnny Benson, Matt Kenseth, 8th and 9th spots. Benson has it, Kenseth wants it. Been a decent night for Benson. He's got a pretty good track record here at Richmond. 3 top 5s in the last 5 races here. Looking for what would only be his 3rd top 10 finish of this season. That has not been what they expected.
And Kenseth has made that decision to try to make that pass on the bottom, and look on the outside. He can't give up now because he'll lose 4 or 5 spots.
And Jeremy Mayfield and Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Burton right there.
You're right, Ben. It's not like, okay, I'm going to back off and try this again, because they're all lined up behind Johnny Benson. He'll lose a lot of spots.
How about the 17 car? Is he saying anything?
Well, I would say, BP, that's actually not where he wants to make the pass. I talked to Matt, as you see, he falls in behind Johnny Benson now. I talked to him before the race. He said the bottom is so slick. Where you want to pass is on the top. That's actually better. That's actually where he got it on Johnny Sauter last night in the NASCAR Busch Series race. He said, if I had my preference, I would like to pass on the top tonight.
Tell you what, that 19 car is going to pass on the bottom. Looks to me like Jeremy Mayfield.
Very nice run for them tonight, BP. Started 23rd, into the top 10. They're trying to move up.
You okay?
Yeah, you all right?
Nah, it's just a little frog. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for your concern.
Yeah. Okay, we're here for you, Alan.
Yeah.
But Jeremy's the same spot that Kenseth in the 17 cannot get by. Here's a battle between the 01 and 18. Weber.
Bobby Labonte trying to make up spots rather, after a bad stop. They had trouble with the lug nuts on the left front. Mark Armstrong, one of the top tire changers in this sport, had lug nuts fall off on the left front. That cost him a number of positions. Just before they went green, Michael McSwain, the crew chief, came on the radio, said, Bobby, we're sorry, we screwed up, you've got a great car, be patient, you've got time to get back to the front. Dave?
Hey, Bill, one of those cars that Bobby passed was Jeff Gordon. On the last run, he radioed to his crew, something is definitely broken on this car. Is it a shock? What's the problem? They really don't know. They made a track bar adjustment to try to help him on the last stop because he said the car was laying over the middle of the corner and very tight. So Jeff has a problem. Don't expect him to go forward at this point.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon has led the most laps tonight. 4 times for 126 laps, but he's mired back in 17th out of 21 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Newman trying to get away from Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's got 64 laps to go, trying to pick up his 6th win of this season. The intensity is picked up as we get to the closing laps of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. 21 cars on the lead lap, 57 laps to go. Ryan Newman's the leader behind those front few that are spread out a little bit. We got guys knocking each other around all over the place.
Well, remember what I said earlier, the longer it goes, the shorter the tempers are.
Yes.
And now we're at that point of the race where every position means something, and these guys are going to be leaning on each other a little bit more than they would the first part of the race.
Well, look at the brake rotors on the 48 and 18. They're using those brakes all they can right now, trying to get every spot they can.
That's back for 13th place. Bobby Labonte trying to get it from Jimmy Johnson. Johnson and Johnny Benson just bounced off each other about 6 times in 5 laps. Benson finally held off a Johnson charge for that spot. And now Rusty Wallace and Bobby Labonte have gotten through the 48 car. Leader, 12 car, and Ryan Newman. Matty?
Whether or not Newman has enough fuel to go to the finish has been a concern. Matt Borland, with that caution, are you good enough to go, or is it still very close?
We're still a little bit short right now, but there'll probably be another caution or two, so hopefully we'll be able to make it from here. We'll just have to see.
They've never won here, although they finished second twice. He'd love to pick up his first Richmond victory, guys.
Ryan Newman leading 1 lap early, and then a bunch now here late.
I talked to the crew last week in Darlington on this 12 car, and they reminded me they'd won 6 Bud Poles this year, and they wanted 6 victories to match that. They felt like that victories more important than poles. They only have 5 victories, 6 poles. Hopefully tonight can match them up.
Ryan Newman took the lead at lap 279 and has not been headed since. See a little smoke from Tony Stewart's car. And also Jamie McMurray's car being watched by NASCAR's race control and their observers around the track. about this guy? I mean, what a shame it is for the season they've had that Ryan Newman had all the problems he had back in the spring. That string of races back in April and May that took him out of contention for the Winston Cup title.
But he has been phenomenal since about the 1st of June.
I got 50 laps to go. Going to get our last green flag commercial break out of the way now and see what happens as this thing winds down toward the checkered flag.
The Chevy Rock and Roll 400 on TNT, brought to you by Chevrolet. Wherever there's a winner circle, we'll be there. New Smirnoff Ice Triple Black, triple filtered for a crisp, clean bite. And Sears Craftsman. Craftsman has the right tool for every project. America's #1 tool brand at America's best store. Craftsman at Sears.
Yeah, trouble on the track for Dale Jr., Bill.
Yeah, they think it's a flat tire. Now we'll see if it's a right front. He's been complaining about that vibration. They talked about it before the last caution. This is a backbreaker. It looks like it's the right front from here. We'll have trouble getting the jack underneath. It slides in there. Going to change. They called for 4 tires. We'll see if they change 4. They come around to the left side. They will. So this will take Junior out of the running here. They didn't need the fuel, but he was concerned about that vibration in the right front throughout the evening. Looks like it did him.
Yeah, it looked like that right front was flat, Bill.
Another hard luck race for Dale Jr. In the last 3 weeks, he's lost 131 points to Matt Kenseth in the race for the championship. And the gap between them is 389 coming in. He's going to lose second to Harvick if things finish as they are now. Harvick running now in second place. And Junior will check it as he comes back around to the scoring line. Now in 23rd place.
On board with Matt Kenseth as he runs in the 7th position.
And for Junior, 1 lap down to race leader Ryan Newman. One and almost 2 laps down for Junior.
That Ricky Rudd.
Yeah. 3rd spot.
Wow. Way to go, Ricky. Marty.
Made a little strategy play a little while ago, huh, Marty?
And it's played into their hands, Alan. They are in 3rd. They can go all the way on fuel if they finish here to tie their best finish of the season, which they had at Daytona. Ricky turns 47 next Friday. It was stuck in 4th gear a little bit earlier. BP, is that a concern? He popped it out of 4th gear. There have been no problems since then, though.
I don't think so. It wouldn't concern me.
Obviously, once he popped it out, Marty, he had all the rest of the gears, right? Or is it just 4th gear that he has?
I think he said he's working okay now. So Ricky Rudd, I talked to Pat Carson, the crew chief, today, and he said, we're going to be good. We have a good race car. Marty?
He has use of all 4 gears, Wally, so that's going to make it feel pretty good.
So Ricky Rudd in the Wood Brothers car, as Marty said, looking to equal his best finish of the season. And, you know, I talked about Robbie Gordon in the May race here, making up 3 laps and coming back to finish 4th. And we saw Robbie Gordon get in trouble very early in this race tonight. Guess who's in 4th now?
Robbie Gordon.
Robbie Gordon.
There he is, on board with him. Dave?
Yeah, and I think that's what we finally agreed on when I finally spit it out earlier, right? He finished 4th in the spring.
Yeah.
They made an adjustment on lap 267. It was the last time they stopped. He was tight. They adjusted on it. It's better now, and they can definitely make it to the end.
He gets the comeback award of the night. Richard Childress Racing certainly has turned their program around from last season to this. And it took them a little while this year to get going. They kind of struggled the first few months of this season.
Yeah, they really did. But boy, these last couple months here,
hot, hot, hot.
Childress Racing molds.
2nd and 4th right now, Harvick and Robbie Gordon. Steve Park involved in a crash earlier. Good little race for 5th and 6th, Bill.
Yeah, real good race. Terry Labonte told me yesterday he thought maybe they brought the wrong car here. He told me that after his qualifying run, just couldn't get the car into the track. But then they had the 2 practice sessions to work on it yesterday afternoon. Got it much better. He's really run a good race. They've gotten good pit stops, and Jim Long, strong coaching on the radio. As for the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield, this is the run that this team needed. Ray Evernham is looking for his 2 teams, the 19 of Mayfield trying to Bill Elliott to show some strength down the stretch. Ray's been working at this for a few years now as a car owner. He expects his finishes to be equal to the result of the work they're putting into these cars. He wants 9 and 19 at the front.
The 12 car, heavy traffic right now.
Man, I'm telling you, and that 29 car is coming. You ever see the 12 on the inside of Kenny Wallace trying to get him a lap down, but right behind him is a 29 car.
Kenny Wallace was last on the lead lap in 20th place. Now the first car 1 lap down.
And sometimes in this situation, BP, if you're in second place, you're at an advantage because when the lap cars are being told the leader is coming, then they know automatically that the rest of the leaders are coming, so they're looking for him.
And they're trying to keep, they don't want to go a lap down, so they fight the leader as hard as they can. Once he gets by them, they just kind of lay over and let the rest of the guys go by. So it is a struggle sometimes being the leader in this situation with all that heavy traffic in front of you.
Ryan Newman next to catch Ricky Craven, who's back in 30th place. 3 and almost the 4th lap down with the race leader. He goes by him. Now Dale Jarrett is next. Dale is the last one on the lead lap in 19th place. Bill, got more on Dale Jr. for us?
Yeah, just to put a period on it, Alan, there was a puncture in the right front. So remember, he talked about hitting that debris. In addition to the vibration he had from what they might believe is a warped rotor, he did say he hit that debris. It could be a problem. Did have a puncture. That was the problem.
All right, thanks. Hey, let's tip the cap to Mike Skinner and the 01 team also. Mike is on the lead lap. He's about to get overtaken by our leader, Ryan Newman, but this is their 3rd car of the weekend.
And that car never turned a lap here.
Until the green flag wave.
Right. They had to set that car up just off of their notes. And Mike has run a really good race tonight.
He has that.
In the meantime, second place, close it in, Kevin Harvick. Dave?
And they made a very minor adjustment on the car last time they stopped. Just a slight wedge adjustment, a quarter of a turn. And by the way, they can make it. How do I know? Well, they told me that. Plus, I looked in their pit. No gas can. Brian Engelhardt, the gas man, doesn't have a single one left down here.
Oh, here comes Harvick on the inside trying to get 3 wide in turn 1. Is that going to work? No.
Ryan Newman having trouble.
Here he comes. 2.
3 wide.
Not this? No, not quite.
Harvick's angle into turn 3 was just destroyed.
But Newman needs that upper lane that Mike Skinner's holding him from.
We may see some rubbing here in a minute.
Yes, sir. We're going to see smoke flying when these 2 cars get together in just a second.
Oh, there he goes. Newman up the track. Harvick trying to fill that bottom lane. Can't do it.
Oh, Harvick almost spins. Oh, and someone's smoking, about to blow up, going in turn 3.
Who's that? Jason Leffler? 0 car going to pit road for Leffler.
I see Harvick there, wiggling the car, making sure, man, I hope I don't have a flat or got something on my tires.
And now look at how quickly Newman got away from him.
And now he's got to regroup, he's got to focus. Now he won't waste a whole lot of time going through the 01 car. I mean, he'll want to get by the 01 car pretty quick.
And Skinner doesn't have to fight him as hard as he did the 12 because now it doesn't matter. The 12 car is the leader.
Right. So Harvick by Mike Skinner. And he's got 0.8 of a second to catch Ryan Newman. That's the deficit now. 24 laps to go. And now Harvick wants a caution.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time. He only lost a second. Ryan Newman just on that sideways move off of turn 2 there.
This is 5th place. Jeremy Mayfield got by Robbie Gordon for 4th, and now Jeff Burton is working on Robbie for 5th. Kenseth joining in on the fun. This is very quickly going to become one of Robbie Gordon's favorite racetracks.
Tonight had trouble early. Lap down, came back. Battling for 5th position now.
Jeff Burton led some laps earlier in the race.
Might have enough this time.
Guy a lot of people thought would be a dominator tonight, would be really strong, but Marty, it hadn't turned out that way for him.
No, they've been very good on the short runs, not as good on the long runs, although the car's gotten a lot better here at the end of the race. For about the last 60 laps, he has had no water pressure, so it's amazing the car is actually still running for Jeff, but they've hung in there all night long, fought a tight race car, trying to get in the top 5 and around Robbie Gordon.
Marty, no water pressure.
He said, I have no water pressure in the car. That's what he said on the radio. He said, I have a funny smell, and I have no water pressure.
They run that system where they charge the system.
Oh, here we go.
Contact. Robbie Gordon into the wall.
Patience ran out.
Caution's out.
Sorry, BP.
That's all right.
Oh, that's not where you want to be sitting like that.
Man. Yellow flag, 19 laps to go. And what I said about this being Robbie Gordon's one of his favorite racetracks.
Might have to take it back, huh?
Now, Jeff Burton may not be his favorite driver at his favorite racetrack.
And we'll add Robbie to the list of mad drivers.
Got into him. I didn't mean to.
But that, you know, you're racing hard here, and when you're on the bottom especially, you start running that car in a little bit harder. Burton probably tried to get in a little bit deeper than he was before, and it's real easy to slide up the racetrack. There you see him, they're racing hard.
And Jeff just lost the front end there for a second, and Rusty Wallace takes advantage of that to get by Matt Kenseth.
Robbie. Stay on the bottom, buddy.
That's...
Just bring your dust to the garage here, Robbie.
Car's about that bad. I just need a left front tire.
I think you're going to need more of that, bud.
Attaboy, Robbie.
His glass is always half full, isn't it?
Pit stops among lead lap cars: Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Jimmy Johnson. Got John Andretti in. So Robbie Gordon tries to get his car repaired.
On board the singular car, and we see Jeff Burton go.
Oh, 99 just punted us in the wall.
And you're right, BP, you can see that.
Punted us in the wall. Left corner. Going down.
That car really did slide up the track. Jeff Burton's car really did take a push.
So under caution now, 17 laps to go. Kevin Harvick gets to close up the deficit he had to Ryan Newman and get another crack at it. Going to be a restart with 14 laps to go here at Richmond. Kevin Harvick in second place behind Ryan Newman. Dale Jarrett just lapped before the caution flag. First one to the inside of the leaders.
Oh, Newman spun the tires on the restart. Looks like he might have gotten away with it.
Harvick's got to get around Jarrett quick. And he does. Dale Jr., a couple of laps down. Now one lap down in 19th place, trying to see if he can stay up there and get a caution.
All right, here comes Kevin Harvick. You know he's tired of running second. He wants to win one of these babies. What's he run second? Last 3 races in a row?
3 in a row, yeah.
This would be 4 races in a row, finishing second if he can't pass the 12.
Remember though, it was caution is out.
Down there, turn 1, I believe there.
Piece off one of the cars in turn 2.
Boy, Ryan Newman did not want to see that. Looked like he was starting to pull away from Kevin Harvick.
Take a quick minute break and come back while they go fish out that piece of debris. Back at Richmond, the Chevy Rock and Roll 400, a caution for debris, has brought Kevin Harvick another chance at Ryan Newman's back bumper.
And Ryan Newman last time spun those rear tires on the restart.
We were just talking about it. Your best opportunity is going to be do it on the restart. Dave.
Well, we're going to see what kind of a car Kevin has. He radioed into his crew. It feels like I've got a flat tire going down right front. They said, clean up those tires real well. So we're not sure. Matt?
Dave has had a number of caution flag laps, but Ryan Newman just heard from his crew chief, Matt Borland. Conserve fuel. They are still very close, on the edge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not going to conserve fuel with 10 to go. And the thing that Kevin has to do, we talked about this focus and all this stuff, you have to break Newman's rhythm. You got to stick that nose in there and take his racetrack away if he's going to have a shot of trying to pass that 12 car.
Oh, we might see something like last night. Remember last night? Yeah. Maybe his teammate Johnny Sauter taught him something last night.
A little fender contact, and excuse me, I'm coming through.
All right, let's see. This time, Newman, he's trying to get the car straighter.
9 laps to go.
Good restart.
And you notice it had no lap cars on the inside, less than 10 laps to go under the NASCAR rules. They have to start in a single line.
This may get rough.
Here we go for the lead.
Harvick, he slid it again off 2.
And meanwhile, Jeremy Mayfield back there giving Ricky Rudd all he wants for that 3rd spot.
And boy, you can tell Newman is, Harvick is driving that car in hard, trying to get to the bumper of the 12 car, but he pays for it. Getting
Loose.
And crashed. Oh, no. Back down into traffic. Look out. Wow. Kenny Wallace taking the high side, and the caution flag is out. Kevin Harvick's not going to finish second tonight.
He sure tried.
We showed you Ricky Rudd and Kevin Harvick a couple of years ago when Rudd was driving the 28 car. Well, looked like that was Harvick and Rudd again here at Richmond.
Did he get into him? That's what I want to see here.
Yep, he sure did.
Yep.
And boy, we talk about this all the time, Benny. When you get hit going into a corner, you don't save that race car.
Nothing you can do except that.
Yeah.
Back it in the fence.
So add Kevin Harvick to the angry drivers list.
Yeah, here we go. Here we see the right there, the contact.
And look at Jeremy Mayfield.
Mayfield picked up 2 spots
right
on that.
through to second.
I tell you what,
new player.
Hey, new player in town. Yes.
This would be the 14th caution flag of the night.
Inside. He's spun up. Caution's out. He's spun up.
Kenny Wallace squeezing through. So Harvick on pit road with his damaged car. We talked about he and Ricky Rudd tangling racing for the win here. This race 2001. Harvick gets a hold of Rudd. Watch that save.
That was one of the best saves I've ever seen.
So Rudd gets it gathered up. A few laps later, gets back to Harvick. And it was payback time.
And Rudd goes on to the victory. Dave?
BP, they stopped. They did pull out some damage, put on 2 left side tires, and Kevin indicated over the radio that he might like to buy Mr. Rudd a cup of coffee when this is all over. Yeah, that's not exactly what he said.
Yeah, I understand. We understand.
Is that with sugar? Or without?
1 to go here.
And he's still, what, he's in 16th now?
Restart will be with 4 laps to go. And
This
now
is gonna
Jeremy
get exciting.
Mayfield has his crack at Ryan Newman. Mayfield been struggling and chipping away at getting up front all night, and he gets a caution and gets through the second.
And you got to do it now.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? You can't wait and get settled in. You've got 4 laps.
Did you see Ryan Newman the last time restart a little bit lower since he didn't have those lap cars down to try to drive straight toward the start-finish line and not spin those rear tires? It looked like it worked.
You got to be careful, BP, because he was a little bit down that time. He's got to be careful these guys don't go up on the outside of him.
All the fans are standing here at Richmond. 4-lap shootout to the finish. Mayfield trying to get a run at Ryan Newman.
Newman got a good restart. Here comes Ricky. Not enough room.
That's a concern that the 19 car Mayfield has as he tries to go on the bottom. Rudd is going to drive on the outside.
Newman staying in that second lane up that he's been using all night. So Mayfield tried the low lane and he lost the car length.
Yeah.
Last win for Jeremy Mayfield, June 2000. Pocono, 107 races ago.
Newman's going to be tough to pass at this point.
Two to go. And Ryan Newman's getting away. Behind him, they're bunched up pretty tightly.
They're trying to wreck back there.
Yeah, that second group back there, they're trying to have one.
Yeah, they went down in turn 3, 3 abreast. Ward Burton's on the outside, so he's the big loser in that. Here we come. White flag.
Clear back
Brian Newman looking for win number 6 of 2003. Mayfield with a final desperation shot at it. Remember what happened in the last corner last night. Will we have a repeat? He's got to catch him first. Not going to get there. Brian Newman wins the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Great run for Jeremy Mayfield to pick up second, Ricky Rudd third, Jeff Burton fourth, Rusty Wallace fifth. Your championship leader, Matt Kenseth, finished 7th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 17th, Kevin Harvick 16th. What a job the 12 team has done this year.
Attaboy, Matt. Hey, Matt, I didn't believe you when you said you couldn't make it on gas. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yep. Angry drivers, we've got some tonight. We got Robbie Gordon looking for somebody. That would be Jeff Burton.
Yep. Ricky Rudd looking, Kevin Harvick looking for Ricky Rudd.
Yep. And he knows that Ricky Rudd has come to the top 5 impound area on pit road.
Did you hear that?
Let's be smart. That's where he's coming to find him. And so what happens in these situations is we get pit crews involved. Harvick's pit crew coming in to intervene. And an army of Winston Cup officials. And Kevin will go for a visit to the big red truck.
You know, and those good wrench guys, they were there to protect Kevin from himself.
Yeah.
I mean, they were not, that's the only reason they were there.
They weren't there after Ricky Rudd.
No,
they were there to,
Exactly.
These guys are going, hey, get off our car, man.
NASCAR officials telling Kevin to get off the car, get the crewman off the car. Kevin going to have his say. Well, here we go. He walked across the top of the 21, and now it's on.
I'll tell you what, that big official, Big Andy, Big Andy's, think about going by Andy.
Down there and trying to get things settled. Looks like Kevin Harvick is walking away from the speed right now. He's still.
There's Todd Barrier, the crew chief. Matt!
Yeah.
Benny, we've got Todd Barrier trying to hold back Kevin. Very frustrating night, Kevin. Yeah, I tell you what, Gene Goodwin's car was good tonight. Ricky Rudd took a cheap shot at us. And if he's going to, take a cheap shot, he's going to get one back, I promise you that.
And it's off to the big red truck.
There's Pat Tryson, the crew chief for Rudd. Marty?
And Ricky being pinned to the car right now by Pat Tryson, his crew chief. Ricky, what was the contact with Kevin about?
I don't know. Kevin had trouble on the restart. He couldn't get going or something. Anyway, went down turn 1. I guess he just put on the brakes a little harder than he had been, and I got in the back of him. I mean, my fault, but it wasn't on purpose. It was an accident. This stuff here is just absolutely ridiculous that NASCAR will put up with this. This is our car that's going next week to the race. Look at the hood. Look at the damage. I mean, that's totally ridiculous after the race stuff like that.
What did he say to you when he climbed out of the car?
I couldn't hear him. He's, got that little yap mouth. I couldn't tell what he was saying.
Fireworks at Richmond. You want drama?
We got drama.
Yeah.
We want action? We got action.
All right, and while all this is going on, Brian Newman did the Victory Donuts and went to Victory Lane.
Oh, yeah, by the way, that guy that won the race.
How about it, Bill?
Well, now he climbs out. And they're pretty good at this Victory Lane celebration stuff. And as I recall, he called this a below-average car on the Discover Card Countdown to Green. Now, as opposed to what you saw on pit road, this is all friendly stuff. Hi there.
How about that?
How about that? And I think you said this was a below-average car on the pre-race show.
I did. We were below average for what we usually run here in happy hour. The guys did an awesome job with the Alto Dodge. Got thing Mobile 1 Sony. Just a great run. I mean, we struggled there a little bit, really loose. Once we got track position, I told Matt, let's just keep this thing out front.
Yeah, tell me about being out there. A lot of traffic tonight, a lot of caution. Some guys very upset at the end of the race.
Yeah, once again, our front bumper's clean. Everything else doesn't matter to me.
I talk about the 29. He was riding you pretty hard there, and then he fell out.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, if he got loose or got hit or whatever, but, you know, he had a good car. Looked like he was really loose behind me. It's hard to pass tonight. The groove moved up quite a bit, the highest since I've ever seen it at Richmond here, and it's just an awesome run for Penske Racing.
You're a very intense person. Were you more determined to win tonight after what happened last Sunday, Ryan?
That's past. I mean, you know, I owe this to the guys, but you know, you can't take anything back. You can't fix what you broke. And when it comes to the past, and we just go on and do the best job we can at Penske Racing.
That's 6 wins, Mr. Newman.
That's a good run for us.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ryan Newman with a big smile in victory lane again, this time at Richmond. Marty? Dave, I'm sorry.
That's all right, Bill. Back in the garage with Robbie Gordon. He's had a lot of teammates in his ear. What would you like to say about the incident with Jeff Burton?
Just totally immature on his side. You know, I gave him room there. We had a really good car. I feel sorry for the guys at Trapp that were here with us. We had a shot at winning this deal for the Singular Wireless Chevrolet, and just disappointed that he has to race like that. You know, I know it is short track racing, and we're up here at Richmond, but we were in shape for 2 good top 5 finishes. I raced him clean, gave him plenty of room on the inside. I guess he felt he needed to dump me.
All right, they made a lot of repairs on this car to get it back in, and then, of course, the ending. Marty?
Boy, I think survival is the word of the night for our championship leader. He had a little bit of everything going on, and the car was pretty decent at the end, though, Matt.
You know, we had a decent car. It wasn't very good in the beginning. I got in a wreck. I hit the wall and hit the brakes in front of Todd, and I got turned around, and I messed up there. And Robbie did a really great job of getting me back in sequence to get us with the leaders. Once we got with the leaders, our car was good enough to hang out with them. So at times in the race, we had one of the better cars on the track, but just our last set of tires and our last adjustment didn't agree with the car, and my car went really loose in the last run, and that was probably almost our worst run of the night. So I feel lucky to come home 7th.
Another night that could have been bad, that went pretty good. Matt?
A very dramatic night for Jeremy Mayfield. On a good note, how much more time and how much closer did you need to get to make your move?
Well, if I got about that much closer, we'd been all right, but no, it was a great run. I mean, these guys worked hard and gave me a great race car. You know, we've been working hard to get what I want, and I think now there's no excuses. They know what I want, and they give it to me tonight. It's a brand new race car and ran good, and the engine ran good all night. Pit stop's good. Kenny done a great job on strategy in the pits, and just everything went good for us. That's what happens when it does that.
Now, Ray is up what he wants in both the 9 and 19, and you guys are starting to show it. This is a big run for you guys tonight.
It is, and you know, we had 2 top 10s in a row. They come here and finish top 5s pretty good, and I just had a good feeling coming in this week. You know, it's a brand new car, and like I said, they done a great job on it, and just super good car. I mean, it drove good all night. We didn't do much to it, just air pressure and stuff like that, and I mean, that's what happens when you got a good car there.
He scores his first top 5 since Richmond 2002.
Jeff Burton finishing 4th tonight. Jeff, of course, the big story at the end of the race, a little contact there with Robbie Gordon. What happened there?
I messed up. I mean, it was 100% my fault. Robbie didn't do anything wrong at all. I drove in the corner, and you know, he was slow, but he was doing the right thing by trying to protect the position. I got in the corner and I got loose, and when I did, I went up the track and I hit him. I mean, hit him right in the right rear tire, left rear tire, and he was along for the ride then. He did nothing wrong at all. It was 100% my fault. I'll take responsibility for it. I didn't mean to do it, but it was my fault.
Overall, your night, considering everything, you pretty happy with 4th?
We had just a wicked fast car for 30 laps, and then and if we ever had a 100-lap run, we got in trouble. But we kind of knew that going in the race. We knew that we were fast to start. We were worried that on long runs we could get in trouble. We made some changes for the sit-go forward, hoping to make it a little better, and we just didn't make it good enough for long runs. But really fast for short runs, and you know, you can win like that. If you get yourself in position, you get the right cautions at the end, you can win like that, and tonight would have been a good night to take advantage of that. When I hit Robbie at night, the toe was knocked off, the wheel was turned about 1/8 of a turn, and then the car just didn't handle it all. But good day for my guys. I'm real proud of them. They worked real hard, and you know, this team's coming. We do need to make improvements, and we're working our butts off. Everybody at the shop's working hard. Everybody's trying hard. I was trying a little too hard tonight, and I got into Robbie, and I apologize for that.
Another top 5 for him here at Richmond. Marty?
Well, Bill Weber had your pits tonight, Rusty Wallace, and he said you guys weren't giving up, and obviously that was the case. You worked so hard tonight to get you another top 5.
Yeah, we worked really hard tonight. I mean, I tell you what, I'd like to apologize to the fans. Number one, I can't believe I've been 4 races with DNFs and all this problem. The last time that happened to me was in '91, but finally tonight we got back on track. I wish we didn't have that last caution because we didn't need it. The car was really flying at the end, but hey man, I'm not greedy. To get a top 5 at a great racetrack and my teammate win, everybody's here, that's pretty cool.
Rusty Wallace, another top 5, and back the dry spell's over with.
Here's how they finished tonight in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Ryan Newman with his 6th win of 2003. Rusty Wallace did sneak in there in the end. That last run charged up there to pick up 5th place.
See, last week's winner, Terry Labonte, finishes 8th, and Benson a top 10.
Third of the season for Johnny. Jeff Gordon came back to 10th.
And Mike Wallace, a 12th place run. Attaboy, Mike.
Kevin Harvick, last on the lead lap, 16th place. Junior, another tough night. Flat tire did him in. Kurt Busch involved in an early incident, never really a factor. Now we get into a lot of guys with damage and various bumps, bangs, and spins. The angry list, if you will. What if we need to make a new category to our list from the merely angry to the supremely boiled?
we had some of those as well tonight.
Yeah.
We heard from some of them.
How about championship standings? Now with 10 races to go in the season, Matt Kenseth lead over 400 points.
And Ryan Newman with that victory moves up to 6th spot.
I want to see how they handle this. They've called the entire teams of the 29 and the 21 to the big red truck. They're going to be there for a while. Take a number. Number 64, you're next.
That's all the media, just waiting to see what they're going to say.
Back with more from Richmond in just a minute on TNT.
The Chevy Rock and Roll 400 on TNT, brought to you by the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse, Haviland, a Chevron Texaco product, and Coca-Cola. Let's make it real.
Ryan Newman wins tonight's Chevy Rock and Roll 400 here at the Richmond International Raceway. A lot of caution flags in this one.
A lot of caution flags.
14 for 75 laps, 16 of the 43 starters on the lead lap, and only 4 failed to finish. What about the cars that carried the rock and roll groups with them tonight?
Wow, that was not good, was it?
No. Although there was a little rolling and rocking going on after the race with a few of those.
And some of those cars were terrific. Harvick, Earnhardt Jr., Robbie Gordon, all that. Michael Waltrip. He had a great, very fast race car.
Ryan Newman's got the trophy, though. Neat little Gibson guitar as the winner of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. I got a prediction for you.
What would that be?
The 2 races they have here at this racetrack next year, they'll not have any trouble selling any of the 105,000 seats.
Oh, no. They never have had, though.
And it'll be a full house next weekend at New Hampshire, too. Always is. When we go to see the Bears and their mile racetrack. TNT, 12:30 Eastern Time. We start with Discover Card Countdown to Green as the race for the championship continues.
Higher down below. That's what's going on in that NASCAR truck right now.
Yeah, there sure is. We had some fireworks tonight here at Richmond. Ryan Newman led the final 124 laps to pick up his 6th win of 2003. We'll talk to you next weekend from New Hampshire International Speedway. See ya.